Wendy Bell Radio is live.
Hey.
Let's see if we're live.
Happy Friday. Oh, we're breaking the internet. We've got 764 people. Here you come. Hi.
People were waiting to see
if we're actually going to be on.
Yeah.
Can you guys believe we were number 9 on the leaderboard? I think 8, Alan said.
Probably 8.
Yeah. And that's with not having any video for 2/3 of the show. Like that's
You got to see what it was like to be on radio. Were you just here?
It's crazy. Crazy. And then how many of you went over to X?
Now there's where we're breaking the internet at 13.
We got 13 watching right now, but hey, you got to start somewhere. That was always our always our mantra. By the way, and I think math is going to be a big part of the monologue today, because Brock and I have always had a philosophy of even if you start at 0, you're always adding up. I remember when we did our first video and we had 50 people and we're like, oh my gosh,
50 people are watching.
What?
Why?
And then you're like, let's do the whole show or the monologue, the whole monologue. And I was like, okay. And then we would get like 100 people.
And it just kept.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And then we were getting up to 10,000 followers. And our boss was like, you don't root for those kinds of milestones. Yeah. Don't work hard for that. And it doesn't matter. And Brock and I walked out of his office and I was like, the guy who's got a sign in his office that says censorship is un-American is telling us, tamper down. Put a little
tamper
blanket
your
on
expectations. You don't want to fail. No, we don't want to fail. Yeah. We want to succeed. So
you don't want to work too hard. I mean, don't set unrealistic goals.
I mean, don't grab for the top rung. Be happy with the bottom.
You know what? It's okay to fall out the basement window. That's right. Fine. Nobody gets hurt that way. Just stay there. Brock and I are like, what the hell is up with this guy? And I'm like, dang, we're pissing everybody off.
And then they made a game out of the big board. We're like, oh, yeah. We started with Mayo versus Miracle Whip. And it just, everybody can comment on Mayo versus Miracle Whip,
So in our old station, they had this leaderboard and they had this big thing. Every studio, every booth like this had this monster leaderboard, and it showed not just your media.
All media.
So all of the people in all of the various radio stations, TV stations, anything on their social media that they were putting out. And we worked with a guy who put out 1 million things a day. So he was always number 1 on the leaderboard. And it would show how many things you posted and then what number you were. And his was like 35. And so we started posting like one thing and it freaking crushed everybody else's. And we'd just sit back and I'd be like, and it pissed people off. It pissed people off. And I'm like, hey, don't make me beat you. Don't make me beat you and not pay attention to it.
That was one of the first things we did in the morning. What question can we ask?
Yeah, we tried to pimp whore then back then too.
Yeah.
All right, let's talk about this. I want to tell you, and this is specifically for men. I want to tell you about Zeus, and this is from our friends at the Wellness Company. You know how I feel about twc.health/Wendy, the Wellness Company, twc.health/Wendy. For decades, average male testosterone levels have been quietly declining. And if you listen to the Cleveland Clinic, nearly 1 in 10 men over 50 now have clinically low testosterone. And if that's you and you're maybe early to mid 40s, it's already declining. I know. Happy good news, Wendy. But here's the problem. Low T is often defined as a certain number. But that's not necessarily the story. Low energy, low libido, brain fog, mood swings, gaining fat, losing muscle. We're told it's just all part of aging. Suck it up, buttercup. It's the way it goes. Well, no. Zeus is a hormone-free, non-injectable formula designed to support a man's natural testosterone production without needles, without prescriptions or synthetic hormones. It combines clinically backed ingredients like Tonkat Ali, Shalijet, Tribulus, horny goat weed, boron, and zinc to support energy, stamina, confidence, and sexual health. So power your performance, restore your edge. Go to twc.health/Wendy. Use my name and you're going to get 10% off. Don't let low testosterone drive you into the ground. You can fight back, men. You do not have to just sit there and take it. By the way, I was so excited that Jillian Michaels says that collagen is the number one thing she takes. Collagen.
Works out for her.
Huh. She looks great.
Yeah. Not even great. Good. She looks great.
She looks great. She looks fit. She looks almost as fantastic as I do. Anywho, it's going to be a good show today. Anywho, yeah, Brock actually, he sat back today. I was watching and he's like, I like our show. I'm like, good. Let's make it happen because I got hit with a sound bite that you guys have to hear because I did. Okay? It's in the monologue. 2,000 people almost watching. 65 on X.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Welcome to your daily dose of facts to fight off the liberal gaslighting.
You can be in the middle of a hurricane.
You have sanctuary in the city of Chicago.
Or you can be on a calm day. North is still north. You could be in a thunderstorm.
I am angry. We are not going back. Not ever.
North is still north. People can yell at me.
The hell with the Supreme Court. We will defy them.
North is still north. It doesn't change fundamental things. And in this business, right is still right, even if you stand by yourself.
We don't get fooled again. No.
Live across the fruited plain and from sea to shining sea, we are converting the Marxist left 1 hour at a time on the Wendy Bell radio program.
Hey!
Well, hello, America. Happy Friday to all of you across the beautiful fruited plain. It is a delight to welcome you to the Wendy Bell radio program. Common sense, conservative values delivered by a mom who says to you she'll never lie to you. How about that for a promise before we even do anything together? That's what I'm going to give to this party. No lies, just common sense, intuition a little bit, if you will, and it is a delight to be with you. WendyBellRadio.com. If you haven't joined us in our live video stream, I sure hope you do. Wendy Bell Radio, wherever you get your podcasts, just hit 8.2 million podcast downloads, and that is because of you. Thank you. I'm so delighted to be with you, and welcome home. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Amen. You know, it's interesting. At some point in this whole exercise that you and I are told is democracy, Democrats run out of other people's money, and there are no more fake voters to use to pretend that there are people still voting for you. These two things have a limited lifespan. You can only spend money until the money is gone. You can only demonize rich people as much as you can before they move away. You can only beat the same drum, take swings at the same broken piñata for so long. And then the jig is up. Similarly, with voting, with math, with everything, you can only pretend you're doing stuff for the right amount of people and hide your voter rolls, hide your welfare rolls, hide everything about what you're doing, especially in your sanctuary cities. And then ultimately one day your chickens come home to roost because the numbers are that ridiculous. I think we're there. And I was basically teed up on this thought just about, I don't know, half an hour ago. I was scrolling through Twitter and I stumbled upon a Lawrence O'Donnell MSNBC clip as he's sitting down with Chuck Schumer. Larry, oh Larry. Well, it's what Chuck said. There's a lot of talk about this Save America Act. And the reason why Republicans don't want to pass it is simple. Because they need to cheat too, apparently, to stay in office. Or the Democrats are their money train. And they basically are in a situation where they have to do what the Democrats say, even though the Republicans control the Senate. This is what was said. And I want you to hear this. It's only about 30 seconds. Chuck Schumer telling Larry O'Donnell on MSNBC that Democrats will not ever vote for the Save America Act. It is a threat to democracy, after all, if you force people to prove who they are in order to cast a vote. Ain't that rich? Here's Chuck.
This is this horrible thing, the SAVE Act, one of the worst, most anti-election democracy things that's ever been proposed. They say it's all about ID, voter ID. It's not. They will remove 25 million people off the rolls. Why? Because they'll require, under this act, which is not going to pass, and we're not going to let it pass. We've defeated in court. I was a lead plaintiff in the decision to do that. We've refused to give them the votes that they would want for this. We never will.
We never will? Did you hear it, though? Did you hear the part that I heard? Because I heard it loud and clear. And if you're kind of paying attention, you might not have heard it. So we're going to make it easy for you. This is what he said. This is the secret that the Democrat Party doesn't want anybody to know.
They will remove 25 million people off the rolls.
Wait a minute. What do you mean they're going to remove 25 million people off the rolls? Why, Chuck? Why ever would a law which forces in paper through the process of lawmaking, bill passing, and presidential signature, validating it, why would that act to say you have to be a citizen of the United States, and every time you cast your ballot, you got to show your ID? Why would that remove 25 million people from the voter rolls? 25 million right now. Really? This is before we've actually cast a vote in the midterms. 25 million people, according to Chuck Schumer, will be carved off of the voter rolls in these United States of America if the Save America Act is passed. Does that not tell you freaking everything? How long have these people been voting? Because we're told, no, they're not voting. But these people aren't voting. That's crazy. Maybe like 1 or 2, but like that's not a big deal. And then California's like, hey, Los Angeles, how many people want to put a ballot initiative in November in the midterm elections that says we're going to allow people who are non-citizens, dreamers, DACA recipients, whatever. We're going to allow those people to vote because they're such wonderful people in our communities. I know they couldn't be bothered to go get the paperwork. They couldn't be bothered to do what all the other people who did went through the process, went through the correct process. We can't expect them to do that. California wants to codify illegals voting because they see what's coming down the pike. And if this thing, Save America Act, passes and 25 million people who've apparently been voting in our elections, or at least registered to do so, are going to have to be peeled off of those rolls. Oh my gosh. Okay, so anybody else out there think it's completely farcical that Joe Biden got more votes, let's just say, than Barack Obama, right? You got the first black president. You've got people coming out of the woodwork. This is all the beginning of cancel culture, woke stuff happening, right? Nobody wants to be called racist. I voted for the black guy. It's time. America needs a black guy as president. I don't care that he's only served 1,440 days in the Senate before he was the shiny metal object. I need that. I got to have it. Okay, so let's just say that happened. Let's just say that 146 million registered voters were hot and bothered to get out and to vote in the 2008 election and elect Barack Obama. Then let's say the next time, right? There was a few people, a little bit of a drop off in the number of people who voted for Barack Obama, but we're told the 146 million registered voters in 2008 grew by about 7 million to 153 million. So the voter rolls, the number of people registered to vote, rose in those 4 years of Barack Obama's first to second terms by 7 million. Then there came 2016, Trump and Hillary Clinton. Well, about 4 million more voters showed up to register to vote. So 157 million Then Joe Biden enters the scene. Joe Biden, who didn't campaign, Joe Biden, who's not bright enough to communicate and wasn't well back in the 80s when he was found out to be a plagiarizing fraud that he was, which is why he dropped out. All of a sudden now everybody wants to turn up for the almost 80-year-old guy with no plans, no policies, no campaign, no stops. As Trump is packing all of these arenas all over the country, he's going to nowheresville, and people are coming out of the freaking woodwork like he's a Morgan Wallen concert. Yes, that's what happened, ladies and gentlemen. And you know what also they told us happened? In 2016, there were 157 million registered to vote. In 2020, when Joe Biden came up, 51 million people registered to vote that election. There was a surge, an epic, cataclysmic, biblical, unbelievable, statistically impossible. 209 million people registered to vote, 51 million more than when it was Trump and Hillary. Are you kidding me? Or do you think Chuck Schumer's 25 million that he just said showed up and voted in that election and brought some of their friends? Make sense of that for me. 146 million registered voters for Barack Obama, number one, 153 million, Barack Obama, number two, up 4 more million for Hillary and Trump, and then an explosion of 51 million registered voters out of nowhere, out of a rabbit's hat, registering to vote, and lo and behold, Joe Biden wins in an historic accomplishment that nobody could believe. Barack Obama got 69 million votes, and Joe Biden magically shattered it, and he got 81 million. You mean to tell me that 12 million more people showed up to vote for the old white guy who didn't campaign during COVID, then showed up for the young, hip, fresh, articulate, if we're going to quote Joe Biden himself, new guy, Barack Obama? There is no way these things add up. There is no way you can tell me that we don't have voter rolls with tens of millions of people who ought not be there. Chuck Schumer just told you 25 million ought not be there now. Everything they're doing to prevent those voter rolls, to stop the Save America Act. Doesn't it all make sense? And doesn't it make sense that John Thune is dirty as stones? When we go back on the Wendy Bell radio program. Okay, so don't worry. We're not talking about too much of the UFO files today. Just one little clip. It is the surprise question that I think caught J.D. Vance a little off kilter, but his response, very interesting. Next on the Wendy Bell Radio Network. 51 million people. Get the flip out of here.
And then it dropped again.
And then the next year it dropped back down to its pre-Joe Biden number. Isn't that curious? Make that make sense. You can't.
That's that Common Core math.
That's stem and leaf. Don't show your work. That's racist. Just get the right answer and shut up. Right? Get Native Path. GetNativePath.com. Literally, I'm scrolling through, and the thing after Chuck Schumer being like 25 million people, I'm like, what? Is Jillian Michaels looking so hot? Like, she's ripped. And I'm like, God, she's a beautiful woman. And then she's like, my number one thing that I do and I will always do and I'll never stop doing, that's my number one secret. And she's like, collagen. And I'm like, me too. Me too. Me too. This is awesome. This changes your world, you guys. You've got to be patient with it. You got to get through one of these whole jars. GetNativePath.com/Wendy, up to 45% off. Look, the crepitus, that crackling cartilage of my knee, it's not doing it anymore. It's been about 4 months, but it stopped. Bones, ligaments, skin, hair, your everything, your gut, collagen, up to 45% off. GetNativePath.com/Wendy.
Get on the path.
That's what I'm talking about.
To feeling better.
Can you honestly make that make sense to me, Brock?
No. I would have to be able, well, I'd have to be able to lie to you.
Right. And tell me that Joe Biden was super wanted.
I think it's curious he said 25 million.
Right? It's not like millions of people.
Because you said to me, you're like, listen at what sticks out to you. I'm like, 25 million? Such a specific number. Like,
so then I go and I read all of the comments. I read a bunch of the comments connected to the post. And it was about 2/3 of the way through from somebody. Somebody finally said, he's telling you exactly how many people are on the rolls who ought not be.
That's who they added. How about all the dead people?
It's not just immigrants. It's dead people. It's people who don't exist. It's Smurfs. It's that whole thing. It's fictitious bogosity. And if you ask for granular data, they're like, no, that's racist. And you're like,
I think it goes back to if you've got nothing to hide and you're accused of cheating.
Yes. You open your books, you're like,
no, look.
How dare you?
Yeah.
How dare you?
They give you, how dare you question my lying? Well, this is the perfect song for Chuck Schumer and his
what a dick
appearing and disappearing votes.
He's a crypt keeper too. He's such a bad actor. He's like,
and he used to be for
Hakeem Jeffries. Chuck Schumer in 1996. Voter ID just makes common sense. Today, it's Jim Crow 2.0. You know, I think we would be gobsmacked if we knew how many elections got fiddled with, how many people are currently serving, how many people should not be, and how many other people that we rightly voted in got shafted. I think you and I it would be mutiny. There would be an all-out, civil war. Or at least we'd storm the Capitol, and this time we'd bring the right things, right? No, we are storming it. This is an insurrection now. You guys made up the first one, but we're here to deliver, so let's go. Get out of the people's house. You have failed us for too long. Chuck Schumer, we can't pass the Save America Act. Republicans want to take 25 million voters off the roll. What? So I thought this was kind of a cool... It doesn't really fit anywhere in my show today. And we're not going to talk about UFOs. We're not going to talk about aliens, but I think it was cute. JD Vance on this tour of his book where he's talking about becoming Catholic. And the host of this Diary of a CEO podcast, his name is Stephen Bartlett. He asks JD Vance a question, and I think a lot of people would like to ask. And I'm not so sure JD was ready for it, but it's a cute answer. Listen.
Okay. Are aliens real?
It's interesting. The answer is I don't know. It is something that I have sworn to myself. I'm now a year and a half into this job that I would go through all of the highly classified information about everything that we know about UFOs. I just haven't done it yet. It's like one of these crazy things where you get in the job and the day-to-day just takes over. So I haven't done that yet. But I mean, look, I believe in things, and I think that they're true, and I think that they're rational, but I recognize that there may be even crazier than the idea that there are extraterrestrials. Like, I believe that a Jewish man about 2,000 years ago was the only begotten Son of God, was literally crucified and then rose from the dead 3 days later. Like, I recognize that sounds a little out there, but I think that it's true. And I 100% believe that people have mystical experiences. I mean, I've talked to people who have been involved in exorcisms. And again, I think the rational mind says, well, that's just schizophrenia or that's some other mental illness. I've talked to people who said, yeah, 99.9% of the people that I've looked at to do an exorcism on were schizophrenic or had some other mental illness. But there are weird things out there that we cannot explain. There are weird moments. I mean, I remember not long after my grandmother died, my sister lost, she didn't really lose her temper, but like got kind of angry with her daughter, and her daughter was, 7 or 8 years old at the time. And like the light bulb just exploded. And both of us looked at each other like that was Mamaw. remember I was talking, I write about this in Communion. I was talking to the New York Times writer about the Pope and sort of different perspectives on the Pope. And he was more critical of the Pope. And I was more, my attitude is like, he's not a politician. You can't judge him by politician standards. This is the last Pope. And we're like having this conversation. And it's like, I'm telling you, man, a glass just falls off the bar in a totally crazy way and shatters and like stops us dead in our tracks. And we both just looked at each other and said, what the hell was that? And I'm a believer in mystical experiences. I don't think they happen that often, but I think that people have experiences that are impossible to explain if you have a purely narrow, hyper-rational view of the world. In other words, I think the hyper-rational view of the world is actually not totally accurate. There's some weird out there.
So you think aliens could be real?
I do.
You're being, I don't know. I don't want to say you're being primed, but we're being told to keep our eyes and our options open, to not think of everything as in black and white, to perhaps be a bit malleable in some of the things that we think are truth. Because there's an awful lot that has been hidden from us. And I think it's going to be a very difficult pill to swallow. And it's going to go beyond our political boundaries. When we find out how much has been kept from us, when we find out how malevolent some people have been, and the price that innocent people in this country and other places around the world, the price that they've paid, I think that there will be a righteous fury. And it's almost like these slow drips of little digestible portions of things that even just a few months ago would have been so ridiculously laughable or unbelievable. We're being primed for a huge awakening. And some of it's already coming out. So Tulsi Gabbard today's her last day. She's leaving as the director of national intelligence. She is going to go and tend to her husband who's battling cancer. But she's leaving and she's creating quite a bit of carnage in her wake. She dropped something yesterday that hit my inbox today as she declassifies all of these emails and these prior quieted documents. Not just about COVID, not just about the virus, not just about how it was handled and what we knew and how wrong that was, but it puts firmly Tony Fauci's face at the center of the entire thing. The virus, the deaths, the lies, the deception. And you need to hear all of it. Next on the Wendy Bell Radio Network.
I like what J.D. Vance said.
I did too.
I think we've all had those.
I think everybody has one of those experiences, or many of them.
I've had
many of them throughout the course of your life where you, in a time of what have you, whether it's strife or struggle or heartbreak or whatever.
I had two within 2 hours.
Really?
Yeah.
Recently?
What's that?
Recently?
No. And I think I've told you the one story. When my mom passed away, we had a little picture above her bed of Jesus on the cross. And his eyes were closed. And when I went to take it off, after she had passed, I went to take it off. And the eyes were open. So we had a rose bush. So I get that together and try to wrap my head around that, drive home. And there were 3 rose bushes that my mom had, a yellow, red, and like this peach pink one, like peach. Could never get it to grow, would always die. We had a horticulturist as a neighbor. She couldn't get it to grow. This thing was always dead. My mom died at 5:55. By 8 o'clock, it was fully bloomed that day. So you can't, you can say, oh, you just nobody could. This thing was dead all the time. So,
and
like,
you don't necessarily need to look for the explanation because you know what the explanation is.
like, so JD Vance saying that, like, I totally get it. That kind of stuff I think happens to everyone if you're open to it.
I think that's it. If you're open to it. And I agree 100%. I'm open to you guys getting on board something with me. And it's Bloodflow7. Bloodflow7.com/Wendy. If you're kind of dragging around, if you hit the wall at about 3 p.m, you could put your head down and fall asleep. And maybe at night when you sleep, you don't sleep that well. You just don't feel like you're getting what you need. And you just kind of feel blech. And you're inclined to be like, well, I did just turn 50, or, well, yeah, I am 72 now. It has nothing to do with your age. It has an awful lot to do with how much blood is going through your system. Blood flow is the key to everything. This has nitric oxide that opens up your blood vessels, so more blood flows through you. And let me tell you, it changes your world. I'm not going to tell you what your experience will be. I will just encourage you to try it. Bloodflow7.com/Wendy, 30% off everything at Juvenon. And I have multiple products of theirs that I use. Strong company. I believe in them. And I believe that you will have benefits that will wow you. That will wow you.
Kathy Shoup says she just ordered more Blood Flow 7 and GLP-1 Gold this morning.
Thanks, Kath. She's a frequent flyer. It's great to see you, Kath. I appreciate you. We got 3,400 almost on Rumble. Hi, it's great to see you. We have 204 on X, and it's great. We got greater numbers yesterday than we normally do, which is baffling considering 2 out of the 3 hours were in the dark on Rumble. But it's heartwarming to me. When things, it's not about when everything goes swimmingly. It's when everything goes haywire or something goes nutty. And you guys have a front row seat to it. You watch how he manages things. You watch me try to make seamless commentary and just move along. And it's extraordinarily frustrating. I have no idea what happened. That's the hard part. But we're delighted that you guys stuck with us. And it reminds us every day that you've grown this. This is as much yours as it is ours. And so, love you. I'm going to Cedar Point. I'm going to ride the rides, baby. Today, it's just Joe and me. Our first time. No kids. After the boys left. Why just can't I enjoy a moment? Just enjoy the moment and don't be sad or wish of something else. Just enjoy the moment.
You could have invited me.
You don't do roller coasters.
Yeah, I do.
No, you don't.
Yeah, I do.
I don't know what you do. I'm teasing. I have no idea what you do. I'm sorry.
I got stoned to shovel, and you.
That's true.
You are now unavailable.
Yes. I hope you don't have to stand in line forever. Thanks, Conley. You know what? I appreciate that thought. Thank you.
Don't you get the fast pass?
I do.
Yeah. She's not a peon like the rest of us who sit there and peel gum off our shoes and wait.
That's not true. If you went, I'd make sure that you skip the line too. I wouldn't want you to.
I'd have to get invited first.
No, you actually have a car and you have the ability to do things without me, which is wild. I know. It's like such a weird thing. Like, what? Or you could do it. Okay. Can you guys tell we got our hair done? I know. Mine looks so different.
I just said cut mine short.
Ireland Contracting, 1-800-NEW-ROOF, IrelandContracting.com. Please call if you've got a contractor out at your house. They're going to give you some new windows. You're going to get a new door. You're going to get gutters, downspouts, soffit fascia with siding, roofing. 1-800-NEW-ROOF. Call them. Get a second opinion. It might become your first opinion. I would bank on the Irelands. 1-800-NEW-ROOF, IrelandContracting.com. Worth it, worth it, worth it.
And they're good people.
They're just lovely people. Yeah. Welcome back to the Wendy Bell Radio program. It is a Friday. You know, usually in concert, well, you know what? That's not true. When there's bad news that people want to cover up, they drop it on a Friday right before basically lights out at everybody's office, hoping that nobody will pay attention to it. Tulsi Gabbard dropped it overnight so that we could all pay attention to it and talk about it today. And what she dropped was some declassified information about Dr. Death. Look, I've been calling him that. I toned down after my father-in-law kind of hissed at me. He was, Wendy Bear, you can't be calling people names like that. I'm like, Dad, the guy is an architect of death. He is the guy who created a virus so that he could be the firefighter arsonist with the vaccine cure and then all of a sudden be elevated to be like somebody's god. When in reality, he was directly responsible for more than 10 million deaths and how many other millions of injuries. In my mind, that deserves the moniker of Dr. Death. I'm not going to give you some grand title, the director of the National Institute of Allergies and Infectious Diseases. The guy is a criminal. He should be tried for crimes against humanity. I realize he's old, and wait, just make sure he's going to have some hideous ailment. So you're going to feel sorry for him, and you can't hold him to account. Oh, he's just so frail and small. He can't. No, he's darkness embodied. And I've been saying this for the better part of 5 years. And you've known it too. And now Tulsi Gabbard is giving you all of the breadcrumbs so that you can connect the dots of this dark and sordid story. So she leaves office today, but drops a 5-minute video bombshell. We've broken it up into some chewable bits for you. In the first one, she says, look, Dr. Fauci wasn't just some rando player in the pandemic. The dude was the puppeteer of it. He lied under oath. He used our money to conduct dangerous, deadly experiments, and he manipulated the intelligence community about it every step of the way, all to protect his own tush. Listen.
Before the COVID pandemic, Dr. Fauci, as head of the National Institute of Allergy and Infectious Diseases, provided millions in U.S. taxpayer dollars to fund dangerous gain-of-function research on bat coronaviruses at the Wuhan Institute of Virology, work which is now widely viewed as the source of the unintentional lab leak that sparked the pandemic. Now, in support of President Trump's maximum transparency mandate, today, on my final day as Director of National Intelligence, I'm releasing never-before-seen communications and documents that expose exactly how Fauci worked with politicized career leadership in the intelligence community to suppress the truth about his actions, the virus's lab leak origins, and his role in directing U.S. funding for this dangerous research that caused immeasurable harm and countless lost lives. Now, these documents expose Fauci's direct role in influencing and manipulating IC assessments on COVID-19 and how Fauci lied to Congress in 2024 when under oath he denied knowledge of or participation in discussions with intelligence officials about viral research. We also received testimony from multiple intelligence community whistleblowers who reported retaliation for challenging the intelligence community's manipulation of intelligence on the virus's origins, once again revealing a clear pattern of suppressing dissent, silencing critics, and burying the truth.
Senator Paul, you do not know what you are talking about. If you question me, you question science. Is anybody else out there just totally flabbergasted by how so many people exalted this guy to be like the new Messiah? They were burning St. Fauci candles in Pittsburgh. And I'm like, you guys realize that that's not going to age well for you because this guy is the guy who did it. He might not have been in the lab. He might not have been the one who walked out with it on his person or what have you, but he's the guy. The nucleus. Isn't it also fascinating that Tulsi Gabbard isn't sitting down with 60 Minutes? She's not sitting down with ABC News or Lester Holt or any of the other, smack jabberies out there. She's talking to you, directly to you, the American people. This is yet another proof positive that the media are totally dead. She continues. Dr. Fauci buddied up to the intelligence community and assumed 3 key roles to protect him from being outed as the guilty party who was telling us what to do while all along plotting how he was going to get rich off of it.
First, Dr. Fauci funded dangerous gain-of-function coronavirus research linked to Big Pharma and their pursuit of universal vaccines worth trillions of dollars. Second, Dr. Fauci was the behind-the-scenes advisor who, alongside his hand-picked so-called experts, pushed the intelligence community to endorse a natural animal origin to hide his dangerous gain-of-function research that he funded using taxpayer dollars, all of this in a deliberate attempt to cover up the truth and shift the blame and attention away from Fauci's own actions. Third, Dr. Fauci became the nation's pandemic pundit, and he publicly pushed lies, disinformation, and censorship using every platform available.
The first thing she said there was fascinating. She said, first, Dr. Fauci funded dangerous gain-of-function coronavirus research linked to Big Pharma and their pursuit of universal vaccines worth trillions of dollars. That says the quiet part out loud. Pharma wasn't looking for a cure to any disease. They were working on creating a disease that they could then come in and cure. It's the firefighter arsonist, ladies and gentlemen. Let me be the hero. I mean, I know I kindled the fire that burned down the whole place, but thank God I was here to tell you all about it. Woo! Right? That's that guy. Then she continues, I'm declassifying emails. Nobody has seen these before. I'm going to declassify these emails because they show the intelligence community almost always took Fauci's advice as the Holy Grail. He was the unimpeachable expert. Well, what was the media doing? They were elevating him on the high every single day, morning, noon, and night. He was on every radio show. He was on every television program. He was like a frequent flyer on the freaking View. And every single time that he was elevated, the intelligence community was absorbing and believing his advice, which was contrary to the truth.
Now, according to hundreds of reviewed emails, which are included in this release, the intelligence community almost always incorporated Fauci's recommendations. He promoted a fraudulent paper whose publication he helped prompt as legitimate information for intelligence community consideration. Senior analysts praised Dr. Fauci not as a policymaker, but as what they called an unbiased guide to the real coronavirus experts, while deliberately ignoring experts who might dissent from Fauci's narratives. Now, Fauci didn't stop there. He blatantly lied to Congress under oath during his 2024 testimony to the House Select Subcommittee on the Coronavirus Pandemic, denying that he ever spoke to any intelligence agency about COVID. Now, the correspondence I'm releasing today directly contradicts his sworn testimony.
Perjury is still a thing, right? Or does a auto pen presidential pardon absolve you of your culpability? That's an interesting conversation we're going to chew on in the next segment. Remember, Fauci's the guy who strong-armed those scientists to sign on to that paper, the proximal origins paper, or else lose their research grants, which he controlled as the director of the NIAID. How dark and dirty is that? And the whistleblowers who've come forward to Tulsi have been punished by their respective agencies. They were bullied, intimidated, demoted, and even fired. Listen.
Now, we received statements from multiple whistleblowers revealing that the intelligence analysts who dared to challenge Dr. Fauci's COVID origin conclusions faced threats of retaliation, marginalization, and many suffered career setbacks. For example, a contractor was terminated just days after coming forward to ODNI as a whistleblower. Another example, those who advocated for the lab leak hypothesis or expressed dissenting views were reminded by their managers that leadership would determine which analysts would be promoted and which would not. The message was clear: go along or be punished. Senior leaders also sought to undermine whistleblowers by removing anonymity, which is required in the whistleblower process, as they made their complaints, and also insisting that their managers or attorneys be present during ODNI meetings where these whistleblowers were coming forward with their testimony, obviously creating an atmosphere of intimidation.
100%. And that's the Democrat Party modus operandi, right? Anybody who sees something and says something gets bullied, intimidated, demoted, and then fired. That's what they do. Until somebody says, I've got nothing left to lose. Game on. Tulsi's final commentary here. She says, after years of lies, it's time you and the people you love finally learn the truth.
The COVID pandemic caused tremendous hardship and pain for millions of our fellow Americans and countless people around the world. Now, after years of lies and censorship and cover-ups, the American people deserve transparency, truth, and accountability. The tactics that were used to hide the truth are straight from the deep state playbook. Politicized, self-serving leaders like Dr. Fauci covered up their own wrongdoing and abuses of power, manipulated intelligence, lied to Congress, and undermined a duly elected president by restricting his access to the vital facts he needed to keep the country safe. It's time you know the truth.
That's just jaw-dropping. That's not something you just let go. You just roll off your shoulders. Not only did Fauci use our money to create a world-stopping deadly virus, not only did he lie about it, he weaseled his way into the intelligence community, had himself promoted to be the #1 top-paid federal official in the government, said everything that people were supposed to believe, was never supposed to be held accountable for anything or questioned, covered his own tracks, bullied scientists and researchers who were on to the grift and the scam, and then went after the whistleblowers and tried to intimidate them by basically robbing them of their reputations, their jobs, and their futures. It's sort of like what they did on January 6th. It's like almost like we can document this, chart it, do a diagram that would make Kamala excited. Ew, sorry. So what about this? Does anybody think the dude's going to prison? No. But about that pardon, there are a couple senators who want it examined. Does Joe Biden's auto pen count as a presidential pardon for Fauci? Next on the Wendy Bell Radio Network. This is one of those stories I will never forgive. I will never forget.
Well, conspiracy, does that have a time frame? Like, because couldn't
the grand conspiracy, no.
Couldn't you make the argument that he knew he was lying to cover his tracks when he told Rand Paul, I don't know what you're talking about.
You do not know what you were talking about.
Yeah. He knew he was lying.
Statute of limitations is what, 5 years?
Yeah.
And so they did the grand conspiracy, which, by the way, John Solomon has been great at keeping us abreast of. He's bouncing up into the government for a little while. We'll tell you about that. So I wish I could get Brock a ghost bed because I think it would change his world. I do. I think it changes your world to get out your mattress that you've had for 10 or 15 years. That's 120 pounds because of all your dead skin cells and all the other things that settle down into the fabric, into the springs and everything of it. It's true. Try lifting your mattress if it's 10 years old and then call some guys that have muscles, right? It's tough. Ghost Bed, you order online. You don't have to go try it. You read what people say. You look at the different categories that they offer these beds and these mattresses. So if you want something that's firm, if you want something that's plush, if you want something that's kind of, just in the middle, like Goldilocks, whatever. That's it. That's ghostbed.com/Wendy gets you 10% off. Made in America with a cooling technology. If you're a hot sleeper, oh my gosh. You've got 101 nights to sleep on this for your trial. That takes you through the hottest part of the summer. Feel how different it is. Doesn't matter which mattress style you get. They all have that technology so you don't roast in your own body heat. Freaking phenomenal. Like I said, I've got the hybrid. We've got a full-size hybrid. It's in one of the boys' rooms, and it is perfect. It takes about 24 hours to fully open up. When you open it up and it goes whew, and for it to get to its full fluffiness. And then after that, it's game on. Ghostbed.com/Wendy. What a company. And all about the values that you have. Love, love, love of family. Big love of family, this company. I think you're going to enjoy them. Read their story. Ghostbed.com/Wendy. We have 3 sound bites here, but we're going to get into it. We're going to get through it because it's important.
They're not all that long.
No, I think we'll be good.
Total 217. It's a little under 3.
How are you guys?
I'm good.
4,000. We're hitting 4,000. Hi, baby. 1.38. Let's get those rumbles up. I appreciate that. That's our bread and butter, and I appreciate you clicking that thumbs up button underneath the video box. Thank you for that. Rand Paul is setting himself up to be the Susan Collins of 2026.
I'll take him for when he's a dog on a bone with like Fauci.
Well, Susan Collins in 2018 is the one who got Kavanaugh across the finish line. She woke up and saw it. Hopefully he gets his head out of his rump. He gets butthurt. They get... Who didn't want to just start singing 8675309? Yes, I'm a product of the 70s and 80s. Welcome back to the Wendy Bell radio program. So Tulsi Gabbard declassifies all of these internal emails showing the timeline of Fauci's involvement in the creation of the virus in the lab, the cover up of that, the lying about the funding. No, you don't know what you're talking about. Yeah, we do. And then the browbeating and the strong arming of people in science who are like, you know what? This furin cleavage site looks like it's been manipulated in a lab. Oh, you don't want to say that. You wouldn't want to lose your research grant. Now, would you? And then they get all these, Homer signing some letter. No, we all swear it was natural. Oh, right. If anybody signs onto a letter or a list, beware of it. It's like when anything gets fact checked, it's probably true. Rand Paul tweeted out, Biden's pardon of Fauci is unconstitutionally vague, covers 10 years of potential crimes, and was signed by AutoPen without Biden's direct authorization. You can't pardon someone for crimes never specified. This should be challenged in court. And then yesterday he said this, look, Fauci's tentacles touched every nook and cranny of the federal government. And the timeline of these emails shows how he was manipulating people. He had spent years befriending and covered his tracks. It kept him up at night. Listen.
One of the most incredible timelines, I think, is January 26th or 27th, 2020. He's getting phone calls all day long, but he's still exchanging phone calls and emails at 3 in the morning. One of the last ones at 3 in the morning is to Bob Cadillac, who I didn't know at the time what his job was, but he was in charge of the committee that oversaw dangerous research. And Fauci's sending him a note at 3 in the morning. You must have trouble sleeping if you're sending something at 3. Something must be bothering you. If at 3 in the morning you're sending him an email that says, oh, just wanted you to see this. We're certain this is came from animals and has nothing to do with the lab. But on day one, as he's sort of absorbing all this, he already knows he's going to have to defend because he outsourced this dangerous research to China. There wasn't adequate safety controls, and now he's got to start the spin. But it's not just spin for political purpose, it's spin for survival, because he knows he funded the research to humanize a virus, to take an animal virus that's not very contagious in humans, make it more contagious in humans, and then when it takes off like nothing you've ever seen before because it's been pre-adapted to infect humans.
Fauci virus. That's what it was, the Fauci virus. He then called on old friends within the intelligence community to mislead them about what was really going on at that Wuhan lab, and then to reward the scientists who knew the virus was manufactured but signed that natural origins nonsense paper anyway.
January 26th, 27th, he's up all night, worried about it. He's getting everybody together. February 1st, he gets all these virologists together, and they privately say to him, because we have the email exchange, my goodness, it looks like it's been genetically engineered. My goodness, it looks like it has special details, a furin cleavage site in the middle of this virus we don't see. It looks like it's been manipulated. And a week later, he has these same scientists writing a paper saying, absolutely nothing to see here. It did not come from a lab. It is not a laboratory construct. Adamant language you rarely see in a scientific article, political type of language, PR type of language, like you're saying. But he got people to reverse their opinion within a matter of days. And then it's up to you and your viewers to decide. A month later, one of the authors of the paper got an $8 million grant to his lab, approved by Anthony Fauci.
And then Fauci wrap-up smeared the Trump administration by merchandising as proof that scientific paper about the natural origins nonsense. It was a paper he commissioned, he helped edit to cover his butt as the linchpin of the entire pandemic.
But then once he gets this paper written, he's now on the committee at the White House, and these daily press briefings, he's saying, well, look at this paper that was written recently that I just happened to come upon that says that it couldn't have come from the lab, it came from animals. Well, it turns out he commissioned that in private, helped to edit the paper, and now he's in public referring to the paper that he commissioned. It's a big circle, but it's all around Anthony Fauci, and it's all orchestrated news to try to cleanse him of the guilt that would be attached to having funded this dangerous research.
The indictment of two Fauci lieutenants is extraordinarily interesting. Sort of like the indictment and the guilty plea from Dana Williamson and Gavin Newsom's orbit. Very interesting. David Morans, one of Fauci's lieutenants, is accused of destroying records and acting as Fauci's intermediary. And then there's virologist Vincent Munster, who was charged with importing dangerous pathogens into the country without a permit, claiming they were diagnostic equipment. Both of these dudes were involved in research grants that proposed creating viruses with features similar to SARS-CoV-2. Senator Paul says Morans and Munster might be willing to flip on Fauci and testify if they're offered leniency. That's the story, ladies and gentlemen. That's it. It's the squeeze. Fauci's feeling it. Next up, hour number 2 of the Wendy Bell radio program. The Obamas yuck it up with Hollywood 1%ers, except there's a really bad problem nobody's talking about. Next. So, right, they're going after these people. How about that woman, Brock and I were just talking, Amy Bach, with the Feeding Our Future scam, right? A $250 million mess. They get her fingered. She pleads. She's sentenced, right? You don't think she's talking? You don't think she's talking about all of the people who knew damn well what was going on and providing proof? She got nothing but time. She's got time. She got a computer, and she's sharing stuff like left and right. And she'll get a reduced sentence. No doubt. She'll get a reduced sentence for all that. And by the way, these whistleblowers, if she acts as a whistleblower, you're entitled you're entitled to a percentage of monies recovered, up to 30%. That could be a sweet, sweet incentive. How smart of Scott Bessent to come up with that. It's almost like they were ready to go fishing. They just needed a little bit of bait. Lines are down, getting some bites. Now, are we going to see Fauci put in prison? No, but I hope he lives many, many, many more years completely shamed, completely humiliated, totally ridiculed, and that it's renamed the Fauci virus because it's his. That's a sick MFer right there. I couldn't hurt my enemy, right? Now, if you want to fiddle with one of my kids, now we're talking about different rules. But I wouldn't want to do anything to hurt anybody, right? I'm not a psycho. I'm not like, let's blow him up. What? No.
I'm assuming Rumble is under attack, guys. Still up on X. But the chat is still here, but the video is...
This is the time we need you to rumble. 3,500 still there. I guess viewers waiting. It says, I guess now it's shutting down. I don't know. Is it us that's under attack?
I think it's other people too. I saw that even in the big box, it was frozen for a while. So.
Well, let me get through some of these things. You know, I was very pregnant with Michael, my first son, when I knew it was imminent, and I was still a month early. And I knew it was imminent because my feet and my ankles just started to swell. And it looked like if you tapped it with like the top of a pen, it would go. Pshh. There was so much fluid retention. I have to tell you, it is the most uncomfortable feeling. It is terribly uncomfortable when that happens to you. Well, that's pregnancy, and that's retaining liquid. But what if your body is retaining liquid anyway? Your lymph system lets you know. You know how? You take off your socks, and you can see the imprint of your sock band on your leg. And it just feels like your legs are heavy, right? It feels like that. Most people think that's just part of getting older, when your legs kind of look puffier than they used to. This is how it goes. No. Maybe it's your lymph system screaming for your attention. So lymph systems are like your body's internal drainage network. They help move out excess fluid. They take out fats and waste out of your tissues. And when the system itself slows down, fluid can build up, especially in your legs and your ankles and your feet. You know this if you've experienced this. This is where lymph system support from Pure Health Research comes in. This is a fascinating idea. Wouldn't you want to try this? I would. This powerful formula contains 8 science-backed ingredients, including bromelain from pineapple, dandelion extract, burdock root, and rutin, which is designed to support healthy lymphatic flow and help reduce uncomfortable fluid retention. And by the way, when you're holding in fluid, you're also tipping the scales. The water is so heavy on the body. Many people notice their legs feel lighter, less swollen, even look more toned and slender. And right now you can try lymph system support completely risk-free. They're having a 365-day money-back guarantee plus. While supplies last, you get a free bottle of curcumin extract. You're like, what's that? Oh, read about curcumin. It's up there. It's pretty impressive. PureHealthResearch.com. We're going to get you 35% off this lymph system support. PureHealthResearch.com, code Wendy. Support your body's natural drainage system. Feel lighter and more comfortable all year long. I think that just sounds like a no-brainer. That's what it looks like. I don't know if you guys can see me. I don't know what the bejeebers is going on, but we still have 3,000 people hanging with us. While you're waiting, it's a perfect time to hit Rumble. Rumble thumbs up button, right? Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what's happening with them. Do we need to find a different platform, Brock?
No.
Is there a different platform?
I don't know.
Is there a plan B?
I'd say start a Facebook page, but everything gets hacked.
I hate Facebook.
So
I
do
wouldn't
I.
want to do anything with Meta. I would say YouTube, but I hate them too. I'm permabanned. Permabanned because somebody said that I told people to drink bleach.
That was Switch.
I was flagged apparently 3 times on YouTube for spreading misinformation, including drinking bleach. That led to a YouTube ban. I'm like, why would anybody tell people to drink
No,
bleach?
we're going to keep with you, Rumble. Don't worry, guys. I don't think it's a coincidence. It's 2 days in a row, to be honest with you.
I'm just thinking it was only us yesterday.
It was other places too.
Well,
other channels.
Look at you, 2,800 people. We got 1,065 over here on X. I'm delighted you're here. Thank you. Why don't you share? If you share that with people, that's how we get a lot of new eyes, is people bounce on over to X. And then they'll repost, share our show. Thank you for that. You never know who's watching.
Because it's just odd that the chat is still working. So that just makes me believe that's a DDoS attack. And it happened during talking about Tulsa and Rand Paul.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Wendy Bell, America's anchor mom, fighting for America 1 hour at a time. Welcome to the family.
We're going to win so much. We're going to win at every level. We're going to win economically. We're going to win with the economy. We're going to win with military. We're going to win with healthcare and for our veterans. We're going to win with every single facet. We're going to win so much, you may even get tired of winning. And you'll say, please, please, it's too much winning. We can't take it anymore. Mr. President, it's too much. And I'll say, no, it isn't. We have to keep winning. We have to win more. We're going to win more.
3 hours of bold truth and excellence. You've just signed up for the WBR Army. Strap in. This is the Wendy Bell radio program.
Welcome back. Hour number 2 of the Wendy Bell radio program is live and on the clock. A delight, as always, to share common sense conservative values with you. Isn't it interesting as the debate around this monstrous eyesore in Chicago, this Obama presidential library, as people are looking at that and being like, oh my gosh, it costs $30 to get in and you've got to show your driver's license? Like, what? That's so weird. And then you look over here at the Lincoln Memorial reflecting pool that President Trump spent a lot of time and money to refurbish. And now all of a sudden it's covered in algae and it's this giant eyesore. It's almost like when there is a story that looks bad for Democrats, there's this counter programming that has to hit to deflect your attention away from that main event. Look over here. That's bad. Don't pay attention to this monstrosity. Well, so the Obama Center opened today after years long saga, as the locals there warn the monstrosity could actually price them out. Did you hear about this? Illinois taxpayers spent over $120 million on infrastructure improvements to accommodate the South Chicago Obama Presidential Center, right? So it's now it's up to $850 million. And as construction was ongoing in Chicago, the center faced all of these controversies, including opposition from locals, anger over the use of tax dollars to support surrounding infrastructure, critiques of the building's design, alleged failure to pay contractors, and even a lawsuit alleging racial discrimination, right? So unlike a traditional presidential library, the Obama Presidential Center is designed as a broader civic campus. There's a museum, a public plaza, a forum, a Chicago Public Library branch, a recreation space, gardens, and community programming. Oh, that sounds like such a great time. Yeah, well, there's been some problems. And with the A-listers who showed up, who did show up? Tom Hanks, Christina Aguilera, Jennifer Hudson, Stevie Wonder, Tyler Perry, Bruce Springsteen, Oprah Winfrey, John Legend, Bill and Hill, Valerie Jarrett, Eddie Vedder, Mark Anthony, Jennifer Hudson, the Bidens, the Bushes. They have this big, woo, look at how great we are, the Democrats. Well, we got a great take on this from two studs on Newsmax, Rob Finnerty and Carl Higbee. Rob Finnerty begins, and it's hilarious. You have to hear it. You got to be able to laugh about something that's such an egregious, monstrous waste of time, space, and money. All the hoopla over this hellscape tells us one very specific thing. Rob Finnerty tells us. Here you go.
After 10 long years, that 225-foot tall pile of concrete and rebar officially opened its doors this morning. For $30, you can now visit the Barack and Michelle Obama Presidential Library, the Barack and Michelle Obama Presidential Library, although I think it's technically called the Obama Presidential Center, which was definitely done on purpose to avoid calling it the Barack Hussein Obama Presidential Library. That middle name, Hussein, that's a tough one. But today, Democrats were celebrating, they were worshiping, really, worshiping Barack, because Barack is still all they've got. Because after Barack, Democrats ran Hillary, Joe, and Kamala in that order. A new poll even came out today, and wouldn't you know it, 57% of Americans say they have a favorable view of Barack. CNN even tweeted that 57% is higher than Barack's two predecessors. But according to the media, this library is history in itself.
And the reporters falling all over themselves. Oh, even though there's a whole, like all of the records regarding Crossfire Hurricane, any of the things, investigations into President Trump, there's a whole host of records that aren't going to be included in this presidential library. So it's going to be a very censored library with a very specific, I don't know, sensory experience inside that tastes really bad. And Rob Finnerty is right. He's like, all this shows you this hoopla, all the A-listers, the fawning by the media, drop a few polls that show everybody just loves them some Barack Hussein Obama. It all proves one thing. They have no one. The Democrats have no base. They have no party. They have no mouthpieces. They've got nobody anybody wants to follow, right? All they have is that once shiny metal object, Barack Obama. And Obama ran this project like Democrats always run government, slowly, stupidly, and expensively. Rob Finnerty, part two.
The library was $500 million over budget and 5 years behind schedule. I've seen airports that are more attractive. Seriously, I'm sure you have too. To put that number into perspective, though, $500 million over budget, Joe Biden right now is having a hard time raising $1 million for his library. It's going to be like next to the bathroom somewhere in some college campus in Delaware. That'll be the Joe Biden Center, the Jill Biden Center. And part of the reason this project was 5 years behind schedule and $500 million over budget is because Barack insisted on hiring minority architects and contractors and electricians and plumbers and bricklayers, and you get it. But instead of hiring the best, he hired the most diverse.
There were endless public service announcements and commercials and things on the DNC website showing Barack with all of this menagerie of box-checking contractors and workers, women and Latinas and what have you, black people. Look at us. No, we're looking at what you're building, and it's freaking hideous. Like, I don't know. It's like the Death Star and what? The Temple of Doom, the Legion of Doom from the Super Friends, right? That's what this thing is. And Chicago taxpayers got boned on the deal. Now, enter Carl Higbee now. He brings in this gentleman named Omar Sharif. He is the founder of the African American Contractors Association. Now, this diverse crowd of contractors, as we've told you, isn't getting paid. And the black contractors are tasting the Democrat culture of strong-arming and then silencing them. You don't know what I mean? Well, these black builders wish they hadn't gotten so close to Barack Obama or the disastrous project they were excited to be picked to work on.
President of African American Contractors Association, Omar Sharif, who has several subcontractors who, they own private companies that have approached him with unpaid invoices. Sir, I appreciate you taking the time. You know, having been in infrastructure construction myself, I understand the use of subcontractors, and not paying a bill can be devastating to one of these businesses.
Well, thank you for having me, Carl. You know, I really appreciate this because a lot of our contractors are hurting from this ordeal that took place on the Obama Center. They was happy to be involved. Everybody was ecstatic. Some of my members was involved. They came to me 4 months ago and told me that they was having some difficulty. So I sat in the conference room. I asked them what difficulty was it. They clearly explained that they were dealing with cost overruns that they was forced to do, and they did not get financial covering for it. And so they asked me to speak about it. And so I asked them, do they mind me using their name? They told me that they had a non-disclosure agreement and they was afraid that they would get sued and they would lose everything. But here today, they still want to lose everything because they're not getting their money. Their loans are due. Some of them put up their home. Some have lines of credit.
Are you out of your mind? This is that frying pan from Acme. What did they tell us about Donald Trump? He doesn't pay his bills. He doesn't pay his contractors. He's a bad businessman. You can't trust him. Really? And then the real person who does it is Barack Obama, who makes a contractor sign a non-disclosure agreement. Somebody who's dirty, somebody who's alleging that something bad is going to happen. I don't know. And this guy from the founder of the African American Contractors Association, Omar Sharif, is like, look, I've been doing this 40 years. I have never, ever seen a project that is such a hot mess as this.
What do they say to you when you approach these people? Like, dude, you guys got to pay your bills.
Well, they claim that the contractor's been paid. So that means that somebody took the money or stashing the money and they're not paying the subcontractors, which the project supposed to be geared around helping the economic development in our community. I've been doing this thing since 1989, and I never seen nothing like this happen in my entire life.
It's absolutely in your face. You can't not see it. This is exactly the Democrat plan. Overspend, right? Evade all questions, strong arm anybody who asks any, and absolutely pulverize anybody who speaks out about their experiences. Under-deliver, over-budget, and far past the date it was due. That's Democrat governance in a nutshell. Look at every single Democrat city and state. That's exactly what's going on. One of these little Obama presidential centers, that's what you see in your community. That's what you get when you vote Democrat. And black contractors are getting boned by the first black president. Isn't that something? Huh. What a crying shame. What an embarrassment. Oprah, what the hell are you doing there? There are black folks who aren't getting paid, or don't you care about them? And why did you have a blue roof on your house in Lahaina? Asking for a friend. When we come back on the Wendy Bell radio program, John Solomon from Just the News makes a huge announcement, and it connects back with some dots he laid for us. I love it when a plan comes together. Next on the Wendy Bell Radio Network. Oh, that's just a conspiracy theory. Right. All right. I really dislike bad people. I will say that. So I was just asked, and I love this when a sponsor comes back to me and they're like, hey, would you please tell your audience about us one more time? Yes, I will. Where is it? Haha. I'm going to read about it, and I'm going to do it at the bottom of the next segment, so I know what I'm doing. We can tell you, and this is how I know that Brock very much likes watermelon mint. We were making our drinks. I was getting my healthy fat together and the collagen, and he was making himself a Chuck Defense drink. And I hold here. Oh, you took it back.
Yes.
You son of a mother. So I had bought 2 jars of Morning Kick, which is what we call Chuck Juice, chuckdefense.com. This is Chuck Norris's thing. And, I love that when Chuck started getting older in years and people were marveling at his stamina and his fitness, his exercise routine. What's your special secret? What do you do? And he really put together what his game plan was. And he put together this drink called Morning Kick. And if you start your day with Morning Kick, I think it's going to change really how your day goes. And so they sent us 2 flavors. One was this watermelon lemonade, and another one was this
Strawberry lemonade.
Strawberry lemonade. And one was watermelon mint. And he was like, "Ugh, watermelon mint sounds kind of gross." And I'm like, "I think it sounds wonderful." And now he prefers it because I had the watermelon mint in here to show you. And so I took it into the kitchen for him to make it. And he had already put the old one in, the other version. And he went, "Aw." And I'm like, "Oh, so you like the watermelon mint?" I think it sounds lovely. But chuckdefense.com/Wendy. This is what it is. Chuck breaks down in a video. If you go to chuckdefense.com/Wendy, he breaks down 3 foods he recommends you cut out of your life immediately. And it's important. And then he gives you his reasoning, which is pretty hard to argue with. And I'm not going to tell you what he talks about because I think the video is really important. It might change the way you look at certain foods that you think are good for you that aren't. And then he came up with this production. He's seen this video. 700,000 people have already gone down this rabbit hole to try what Chuck Norris did and what he drank and how he lived his life. You can too. It's called Morning Kick, but you can find it. It's from Roundhouse Provisions. You can find it now by going to chuckdefense.com/Wendy. chuckdefense.com/Wendy. They're offering 37% off right now. 37% off Chuck Defense. It's kind of an odd number, but I like it. There's a full 90-day money-back guarantee. chuckdefense.com/Wendy. All right. Do we still not online there?
We're on Twitter. I will go. We're still recording. So I will post the show after full show. And for you that are watching on X, try to do the pet show tomorrow. 10 o'clock.
It's been a while.
We took a week off.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Huh.
1 show.
I thought it was 2. It's just this whole Rumble thing is getting on my nerves. John Solomon is one of those voices that I trust. I know Brock does. I know many of you do. Welcome back to the Wendy Bell radio program. John's website, justthenews.com. He breaks a lot of stuff. He's like a print guy who also dabbles in television because his print style is very detailed. And sometimes that's hard for television, but he does a really good job. And several months ago on Benny Johnson's show, John Solomon dropped sort of a bomb. And he said that there's something that he called Operation Hypersonic Clarity. This is something that he invented, the name for it, a code name for this special operation that he believed was being worked on and that was going to be coming out to the American people. And it was going to be what Tulsi did. It's going to be this declassification of things that we never would have ever known about. But because this administration is completely dedicated to transparency, that you're going to start to see stuff that you can't believe and that you need to open up your mind to the possibility that you've been hoodwinked, scammed, abused, and sickened for years. And it's going to be tough. So Solomon said yesterday that he's actually bouncing from his TV gig and he's going to step away from the journalism for now. And he's going to go work in a specific capacity for basically President Trump. I want you to hear what he says because he hinted about this 3 months ago. And here you go.
One programming note. I want to make sure everybody on this show is aware of it. I put it as a disclaimer on all my shows. I mentioned it on my podcast today. For the next couple of months, I'm working as an unpaid government employee to help the government identify documents that can be released to the public. It's your information, after all. Bureaucrats keep us from it. I have an opportunity to help the government identify some documents, some secrets, and things you should know about when it comes to weaponization, election integrity, other things. We're going to work on that. But during that time, I just want you to know, I've stepped aside as the editor-in-chief of Just the News. I still do my reporting. We're still going to do the amazing show here with Amanda. But I want everybody to know that I'm doing this. I'm unpaid. I don't take any money from the government. I think it's a good role for a journalist to play, getting more information out.
I think it's a good role for a journalist to play to get more information out. I absolutely agree. You know who doesn't? The left. MediaMatters.org headline, John Solomon has been calling for retribution against Trump's enemies. Now the White House is poised to hire him. That's quite a headline. You know, John Solomon is up there with Catherine Herridge to me. I think she's, of all of the journalists out there, to me, she's the creme de la creme. She's the one that will give it to you straight, and you never know which way she would vote. I would never leave one of her stories and be like, now that's a conservative right there. That's the point. You want the facts. You want the details. You don't need the spin. You don't need the bias. You don't need the fluff. So this is how Media Matters, certainly far left organization, this is how they describe what John Solomon's going to be doing. The White House has reportedly started vetting right-wing journalist John Solomon for a special government employee position, working on government transparency. Transparency is in quotes, as though transparency is just a figment of your imagination, like 25 million voters who are going to be taken off the rolls if this Save America Act goes through. Solomon, Media Matters Misinformer of the Year. Now, that's a proud moniker. If the left calls you a louse, it means you're doing something right. Well, he's got a history of appearing on right-wing media to spread disputed claims about supposed government weaponization. And he has been heavily supported. He has heavily supported presidents, but I never thought of it that way. I know a lot of you are like, that sounds like me. Right? And if your liver ain't getting what it needs, you're not feeling any better. There's nothing worse than needing to lose weight, trying to do all the right things, and nothing's working. And then you just feel like a failure. Okay, so I'm supposed to be fat and have no energy. That's my life. No. I think we have a lot of interesting offers here. A lot of different products could benefit you. And I love them. I think they're great. Right? I must have one shoulder that's higher than another. Because my clothes always end up like this on me. I'm like, is that really how I'm built? It's weird. Anyway, things that make you go.
Okay. So if you're on X and you're watching,
2000 high.
They canceled us on Rumble, the stream. So I hurry up and put a sabotage. Same thing. We're back live on Rumble now. So you're there, hop back over. That's the best I can do. Sorry.
Have they been talking to you at all?
Yeah, they're looking at it. So it's a matter of just people getting alerted.
So should I get out of it and then?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, you can. If you go back to on Rumble, your go to whatever it's called. My feed.
Yes, I'm
You'll
on
see
it.
two of them. You'll see one that should be red.
Yes, I'm on it. All right.
Sucks because we can't tell people about it, but
Right. I didn't use my LTV or whatever it's called, my Hydrolift. I figured with the trim and the hair, I would have gone like that. So we'll save that fabulosity for Monday. I'm glad you guys are here. Thank you. Thank you. Let me tell you quickly, Wendy Loves Gold, wendylovesgold.com. There are a million gold outfits out there. They're like, buy our gold. And you're like, who's got money for gold? I feel the same way. But if you have an IRA, you can make it a gold-backed IRA, which doesn't necessarily mean any money out of your pocket. It just means calling 855-927-5557. My experience with Texas Bullion Exchange has been phenomenal. Working with this film crew, the one guy who works with Texas, he's like, this is the real deal company. This is a Texas company that actually has your conservative values. And it's a bunch of younger people who've come into the company with families to raise, just like we have. And they want to be a part of your life. 855-927-5557. Remember, gold is a tangible asset that you can pass down to your children, to your grandchildren. What a gift. What a surprise. What an amazing legacy to set up grandkids or kids with gold. What? WendyLovesGold.com. Welcome back to the Wendy Bell radio program. Democrats seem to delight in making a mockery of anything President Trump cares about. And I think that's part of the reason why he tries to goad them. He pokes them. He tries to get them in every which way he can, like renaming the Kennedy Center, the Trump Center, the Trump Kennedy Center. Like, rah! People went absolutely ape over that. And some of it, I think he actually, his ego enjoys, like that big arch thing that's going on. I think he enjoys big things with his name on it, but I don't really necessarily think it's because of his name. I don't think it's because of him. I think he just loves to drive people crazy. And he's absolutely forcing people. Like, what are they going to do when he's out of office? Honestly, 2.5 years. What is the left going to do? Their favorite guy, their reason for living, the guy who gives them oxygen, that fills their lungs, that gives the reporters that used to go out and enterprise stories, but now have just completely devolved into the derangement. What's going to happen when that impetus, that lifeblood, that secret sauce no longer is flowing? I don't know. We're going to have to get some counselors. They wanted 87,000 IRS agents. I think we need 87,000 therapists. A lot of people are going to not know what to do. Their life is going to have no meaning without President Trump to talk about. I mean, literally, that's what it is. And I think he loves it, which is funny. So, you know, this $14 million renovation of the Lincoln Memorial reflecting pool, right? The thing was a leaking faucet for years. It was leaking like 500,000 gallons of water a week or something outrageous like that. Millions upon millions of gallons of water. And it just looked like poo, right? It looked crappy. It hadn't been elevated. Things hadn't been constructed right. So they got some bids and all these people came in and they're like, you know, we could do it. It's going to take a while. We're not going to get it done until 2030 and it's going to cost, you know, $500 million, but it'll be great. And Trump was like, say what? That's the dumbest thing I've heard. And he called some of his guys that he's put in pools in all of his properties and he knows people. And he's like, hey, can you come and take a look? Take a look at the reflecting pool. See if there's something that you think can be done so that we can clean it. We can make it better, make it tight, what have you. So there was much hoopla over this. You know, they drain it. They take out 14 dumpsters full of garbage and what have you. And they sandblast it. They clean the whole dang thing. They paint it. They you know, waterproof it, what have you. Painted that flag blue, American flag blue. Fill it with water and it's just like, creme de la creme. Magnificent. And then 2 days later, it was covered in algae. And then 2 days after that, it was disgusting, like swamp of algae. And then after that, whatever is in it is peeling that paint, that American flag blue paint off. Well, you don't need to take my word for it. Let's listen to David Muir. He's very serious last night on ABC News. And he's got Jonathan Carlin live on the spot. Talk to me, Jonathan. What's going on with this water and this reflecting pool? Let's listen in.
We turn now to the reflecting pool on the National Mall. Tonight, not only has the new blue turned green, tonight reports the new paint is now peeling after $14 million was just spent to paint the pool and renovate it. Here's John Carl.
Tonight, Washington's iconic reflecting pool is looking dirty and green. The brand new coat of blue paint already peeling off the bottom. All told, they spent $14 million to paint the bottom of this reflecting pool American flag blue. But if you take a look, not only has the green of the algae come back, but look at that American flag blue in the paint. It's actually starting to peel. It's coming up. No comment on that yet from the White House. The company that painted the pool had virtually no experience as a federal contractor.
It'll last for 50 to 100 years before you have to do anything.
By last week, the pool was blue and beautiful. 2 days later, it started to turn green. 4 days after that, algae everywhere.
Now, anybody paying attention to this is like, that's really unfortunate. And then after a hot second, you're like, I wonder who did it. I mean, am I a conspiracy theorist or am I just a truth teller and a common sense mom who knows a thing or two? Yeah, I'm going to go with the latter there. So then I saw this morning, a post on X by the Truth Guardian. And it says 3 college students were reportedly busted dumping what appeared to be gallons of green food dye into the Lincoln Memorial reflecting pool. This was more than a prank, one parks official said. It looks like an attempt to sabotage the crews working to remove the algae that was dumped by Antifa. Officials say the water itself is now green. It could take weeks to fully clear. This is how the left operates. I was like, that sounds totally suspect, right? Does that sound right? And would I be surprised if somebody dumped something into it? Yeah, I would not be. But another ex-user then asks Grok, is this true? We're 3 college students now. So Grok, or the AI tool, writes back, says, no, this is false. This is satire from a known parody account that posts fabricated stories. It says the Lincoln Memorial reflecting pool turned green from a real algae bloom after the Trump administration's $14 million renovation, painting the bottom American flag blue. National Park Service crews are treating it with hydrogen peroxide. No students were busted dumping dye, and Antifa had nothing to do with it. Those claims are made up. And then we're like, But then this happened. There was a fact check by the left. Like, you could have just left it well enough alone. But then somebody had to come out and fact check Grant Stinchfield, who used to be on Newsmax. Now he's on, I think, Real America's Voice or whatever it is. And Grant Stinchfield was talking. He's like, does this feel really suspicious to anybody else? Does this feel like sabotage? Like, everybody out there knew this was Donald Trump's crowning, 250th American birthday celebration. Of course, it wouldn't be a stretch for somebody to go in and try to dump a bunch of jazz in there. It would create an algae bloom. And then Jordan Klepper from The Daily Show decided to do a skit on the conspiracy theorist Grant Stinchfield, saying that there was something amiss with all of the algae, kind of yucking it up. And that got my attention. Listen.
Funny thing about this story is that no one would have cared what the pool looked like if Donald Trump hadn't made it a centerpiece of the MAGA agenda for some reason. But he did, which means that the people who believe in the MAGA agenda, people like right-wing radio host Grant Stinchfield, they're going to have some interesting ideas about how this all happened.
There's algae in here again. I feel like it's sabotage.
Oh, God. Just please tell me we're not doing a reflecting pool conspiracy theory. Just please tell me we're not doing a reflecting pool conspiracy theory.
I mean, they had just literally fixed this. You would not have that quickly unless somebody did something. I'm telling you, I think they want Trump to fail so badly that they'll come out here and do anything.
I think so. I agree with you.
As proud as I was of President Trump for finally getting this thing fixed, we're back to green. And again, is it nefarious? I tend to think so.
Okay. I guess it is nefarious if you think about it, and then you don't think about it.
So the way he's making fun of it, and he's doing a good job mocking Grant Stinchfield. I mean, hats off to that guy. But that he's making fun of it is just like a truth check, just like a fact check. Anybody who fact checks something, right? The fact check to me means it's correct. And somebody needs to come out and debunk it as some kind of an expert. So that this guy from The Daily Show decided to drag Grant Stinchfield. after CNN then went to go test the water and prove that Stinchfield was right. Here's Stinchfield's vindication and how you always trust your spidey sense. When somebody's trying to tell you that what you feel in your gut is fishy, isn't fishy, know what to trust. Listen.
Sabotage it is, and that reflecting pool. Turns out I was right.
We're going to scoop up a water sample to see if we can get this tested.
Thanks to CNN backing old Stinchfield up, it turns out they tested the water. And in the water of that reflecting pool, that algae-ridden green reflecting pool, it was filled with phosphates. Where do phosphates come from? Phosphates come from fertilizer, which means most likely someone dumped fertilizer into the reflecting pool to cause the algae bloom just to make President Trump look bad. This is from CNN.
CNN independently took the sample of water and consulted with a pool store that regularly tests water to help read the results. It showed phosphate levels far higher than what is recommended to keep algae at bay based on estimates for a pool that holds 6.5 million gallons of water.
If there's already some phosphate fertilizer in the water, that's really opportunistic.
So again, my conspiracy theory is true. The late night hosts went crazy over my claim.
Which means that the people who believe in the MAGA agenda, people like right-wing radio host Grant Stinchfield.
The gang from Real America's Voice is breaking out the Reynolds Wrap hats.
There's algae in here again. I feel like it's sabotage.
My God, the algae is working with Antifa.
Give me a break. I told you something was up. I told you something was nefarious. And of all groups, CNN proved me right.
Here's what's also interesting. So last week we told you about something that I think they were skydivers or paratroopers or whatever they were. People were going to be taking part in this 250th celebration, the cage match that was last weekend. And as these guys are jumping in and flying in last week on their test run or what have you, they look down and they see 8647 burned into the grass in the National Mall. We reported this, right? We haven't heard who did it. We don't know anything about any kind of cameras that might have seen whatever somebody would have done to burn 8647 into the National Mall grass, and hugely so. Is it really that big of a stretch for you to believe that a leftist would go out of their way to do whatever they could to make President Trump or something that he cares about look stupid or foolish? Of course not. You know darn well what it is. We all know what it is. Now, imagine these people coming back into power. Imagine what kind of childish, garbage retribution they would try to foist upon the American people just to screw Trump and just to bend over his MAGA agenda, which, by the way, is all about making America great again. Democrats are the enemy of that. And these people on the late night shows, these people in the media, prove to you every single day which way they go. John Solomon, not so much. Catherine Herridge, not so much. I like those people. When we come back on the Wendy Bell radio program, my friends, you gotta love that. CNN proves him right. California shows us what the left is going to do to never lose another election if we ever let them regain power. It's that serious. Next. I mean, Brock and I were talking about this morning, probably for an hour and a half, going back and forth with the algae. Well, how big is it? It's 6.5 million gallons. What's the likelihood? The blah, blah, blah. I mean, come on, guys. Anybody with half of a brain knows that the people, and how about the paint peeling up? They obviously added something to the water.
Or cut it.
You know, there was something that was done, and that's unfortunate. Why? That's like vandalizing an abortion or a pregnancy clinic, right? That's like burning a church. Like, why? You can have your opinions, but you don't have to destroy what matters to people who disagree with you. That's the left's way. It's all out. It's my back the blue sign. And they took it and said, F the blue. They snipped all of our Christmas lights. right? You're not allowed to like what you like. We're not going to let you have joy. We're going to destroy it. We're going to shatter your window in the darkness of night. Did you hear our message? This is just stuff in my house. This is what I get. Because I believe in President Trump. I believe in making America great again. And to my neighbors, that's not allowed. That's called batshit crazy. Sorry, Harley, but it's true. All right, let's talk about Dr. Simkovich. Dr. Charles Simkovich is a healer. And look, one of the things about taking a fall, getting hit in the head, running into something, having your brain do one of these inside of your skull, the damage to your brain can be so deep into the cellular level. There's just no way to, how do you know? You know that you're off. You know that you don't feel right. You know things are completely wrong. And you can very quickly get into a dark hole. You know, nobody understands. Where do you go? Who fixes a broken brain? Well, that's where Dr. Simkovich comes in. This is his specialty. This is what he does, brains. And he does brains for people who have chronic headaches, people who have issues with essential tremor, people who have had a traumatic brain injury, people who have gotten hurt in car accidents, people who've been kicked in the head by a horse, people who've been injured on the battlefield, what have you. And when you think about 40% of all aged deaths are because of falls, it's serious. Dr. Simkovich heals people. Would you think it's worth it to come to Pittsburgh and get checked? I would. 412-366-3700, Simkovich Concussion Institute.com. It's the real deal. Real deal. Yeah, the west lawn of the National Mall near the World War II Memorial is where 8647 was burned into the grass. And it's only a couple hundred yards away from the east of the Lincoln Memorial reflecting pool. Literally, it's about 0.2 of a mile. I'm sure they're not connected. No. Can you imagine that? But these are the people who said F Tesla. Remember the nutcases who thought it was up to them to go spray paint and firebomb Tesla and shoot into the freaking car dealerships? That's called batshit crazy. That's what that is. That's what that is. I don't need a diagnosis. I can tell you what it is. That's gross. That's gross. Jordan Klepper. Like, I thought he was funny how he did it.
Oh, yeah.
But you're telling me that it's real because you're talking about it. Because if you're making parody of it, it means it's true. Right? Fact check things that are platform for the failing Democrat committee is. All you have to do is pay attention to California, because California is the Chinese spy balloon. That's your test run. If it works in California, well, we could probably roll it out everywhere. What am I talking about? One of my favorite writers, John Nolte over at Breitbart, picked up the story about the LA City Council preparing to allow non-citizens to vote, because that makes sense. This is what they're going to try to do. This is the whole plan. When they take back power, God forbid anytime soon, Democrats. Here's the story. By a decisive vote of 10-5, the Los Angeles City Council approved a ballot proposal that, if approved by voters November 3rd, will give non-citizens the right to vote in local elections. Knowing what you know now about Spencer Pratt getting edged out with this, we're going to count votes for a month after our election, because that's just the way we do it. Do you guys think that the measure is going to pass? Of course it's going to pass. They need non-citizen voters to vote. That's their bread and butter. It's all they've got left. On top of chasing away all the normal people in Los Angeles by making life intolerable for everybody but the very rich and fentanyl addicts, this is another step in how Democrats ensure they will never again lose their monopolistic political power in these failing blue cities. And that's absolutely correct. Councilman Hugo Soto Martinez claims that the, quote, only individuals with some form of legal status, such as deferred action for childhood arrivals, temporary protected status holders, legal permanent residents, would be allowed to vote under such a program. Nobody believes that. Of course not. It's like saying, well, you know what? We're not going to take away your guns, but we're going to take away that magazine that can hold 30 rounds. Let's just do 10. That's not a big deal. It's a slippery slope. He added, this issue to me is really about fairness and representation. It does not just make sense to me that someone who moves to Los Angeles for a temporary job has more of a voice than a parent who has been here for decades, raising their children through our public schools. Well, Hugo, why haven't those people, if they're illegal, become legal? Because there is a process for that. They chose not to. But you think they should be rewarded anyway. The idea that non-citizens deserve the same rights as citizens is absolutely ridiculous. Why become a citizen? Like, what's the incentive? And let's not forget another name for the deferred action for childhood arrivals. You know what another word for those people are? The DACA recipients. Those are illegal aliens. So yes, illegal aliens will now be deciding city elections, including school board elections. And just like the alphabet people saying, we just want to get married, this is nothing more than the thin edge of a wedge. Just as quickly as it went from we just want to get married to exposing little kids to drag queens and gay porn, normalizing non-citizen voting will spread and spread first throughout all Democrat-run cities and then to entire states. Yes, that's what it is. Democrats want non-citizens to vote because non-citizens will vote for Democrats, and they will vote to implement destructive ideas and policies that will chase away even more normal people. And the sad thing is that Los Angeles is already so lost. The voters in that failed city are a lot more likely than not to approve having their sacred vote canceled out by non-citizens and illegal aliens. Isn't that amazing? And they tell you it. And they're so confident that they've got all the systems rigged for them that it's going to come across the finish line, which was oddly curious, the timing of it. I noticed John Nolte covering this story as we did yesterday, on the heels of President Trump putting out a truth, calling for no more games. The GOP has to pass the damn Save America Act or end up on the wrong side of history as a do-nothing rhino monolith who let our country collapse. Like, it's one thing to root for America's destruction. It's another thing to have the ability to stop it and to sit by and let it happen. Which is more disgusting to you? It's a good question. I want to read you what Trump said. Anybody who doesn't want to terminate the filibuster is a fool, a very stupid one at that. The Democrats will end it within minutes of taking office and then rapidly proceed to destroy our country, adding 2 radical left states, 4 Democrat senators, many congressmen and women, their dream of 21 Supreme Court justices, an impossible to beat number of electoral college votes. And that's the ball game. Popular vote landslides and so much else. The Republican Party will never win another election. I will sadly be the last Republican president. Senate Majority Leader John Thune and the Republican Senate must not let this carnage happen. They will go down on the wrong side of history, as will all Republicans who just stood by and watched. The Republican Party isn't at stake, the president writes. Our country is. All caps. Terminate the filibuster and immediately approve the Save America Act. Any questions on that, right? Well, when we come back, hour number 3 of the Wendy Bell radio program, it's that weird moment when pride becomes mandatory and enough little people say, no, I don't think so. Next. I'm going to run to the bathroom.
So we had some snafus with Rumble today. We're back. If you're new, I know Rumble has us in the big box. It's Wendy Bell Radio. We're a radio show that live streams the entire show, commercial breaks and all. Give us a follow. Come back. We're here every day, noon to 3. Yeah, give us a follow so you can know when we're on. Sometimes we do. There will be no Sunday show this week. But there will be a pet show tomorrow. We do it from 10 to 11:15. World-renowned vet comes on. You just come on to Rumble and ask your question and find out what's new in the animal world. If you got pups or kitties or whatever, he answers your questions right there. And he'll go pretty in depth and give you ideas of what you could do or what to talk to your vet about. So give the channel a follow. We're at 94.9. So hoping to get to 100,000 soon. But yeah, check us out. We just talk common sense here. And the chat is great. Our chat is one of the best chats. We don't, unless you're just a complete idiot. In the chat, our mods do not censor. You can have your opinion. People can disagree with you. But yeah, freedom of speech lives here. But she doesn't know we're in the big box yet.
Oh.
So, you got your ears in.
I got my ears in. Then this is a great time for me to tell you about tulip blooms.
Yeah. Perfect time.
You guys, I put it all over my feet this morning before I came into work. If you've ever had a pedicure and you had the person who's rubbing your feet and you're like, oh my gosh, that's me. I'm like, that's nuts. Love it. And then they put oil on their hand, rub. And then off you go. Your feet almost like go bzz, 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 for like a day afterwards. It's like they're sensory overloaded. Okay, how about without the pedicure, just that zzz, 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 zzz. Velour massaging oil from Tulip Blooms, tulipblooms.shop/Wendy. Oh my gosh. Is this stuff like butter? It is amazing. A small little pump in your hand. Put it anywhere and it'll become soft. Put it anywhere and it'll feel fantastic. Put it anywhere and you will become like, what is that, velvet? Yes. Velour massaging oil. I know they like me talking about other stuff, but I got to get on my jam.
Well, I say for the dudes, it works too, because you can rub it all over the ladies.
It is absolutely everything. And it's 10% off with Wendy promo code. tulipblooms.shop/Wendy. I mean, if you've never splurged on stuff for yourself, I never have like that. And I just started to. Yeah.
I'm cheap, but I don't think that's a bad price because it lasts forever.
Oh my God, I use it every single day. We've been using this for what, 2 months?
Yeah.
Every day.
You don't need a lot.
No. It's wonderful. You can put it on your neck, on your chest, on your elbows, on your belly. They have one called the Castor Blend. You're supposed to put it all over your belly and your back, and then you're like, I love it. tulipblooms.shop/Wendy. Look, I don't lie to you. If I don't like something, I'm not going to tell you I like it. By the way, that water filtration system we talked about yesterday, I put in the back of Brock's car. He's going to try it.
I'm excited about it.
I know you are. You should be.
I have, excuse my French, shitty water. So I'm excited to try it. I'll put it up this weekend. And
it's curious. Your color isn't that great. Like you're wearing that's a much more like vibrant blue. I wonder why your color, you look just so drab. Like washed out, your tone, the whole picture.
That's probably the lighting.
Or you could like try to figure it out, but I guess that'd be too much work. So, all right. Just trying to help a brother out. That's all. All right.
Brothers beyond help. How about that?
When are we still in the big box?
Yeah.
We should be. See, once you look at us, you're going to be like, who's that?
I just say give us a follow. Like this is the prime time to ask people to follow the page. Come back every day. Come back when you can. Check out our podcasts over, what is it now?
8.2 million.
8.2 million downloads on all your podcast platforms. Check out the Sunday shows when we do it.
I love
Sunday show this week.
I love Jim's ride. I was 887 the first time, and this time I'm 150. Hey, I'm just glad.
Yeah, give us a rumble. So this could affect our leaderboard status.
Oh, see, he says that he's very happy that they got it all fixed so he could see my fabulous hair. I know, Jim. How you doing? Sorry.
But for those that are new, this is a radio show. So if you ever listen to the radio, this is what they'd be doing between segments, or yelling at each other, telling them giving them a double barrel salute and
whatever. All right. So, how many of you think the reflecting pool thing is total sabotage? I want to know in the comments section. I do too. Like, look, it just smacks of it. Right.
These guys have only I love when he said painting the pool. They're not government contractors. Then I expect it to be done right.
So here's what I think has happened too. I bet you, and because I've said this, I think Trump is a time traveler. So wouldn't it be brilliant if he set this trap and he's not saying anything about the algae and all of this because he wants all of the media people to step in a giant poo sandwich. And then he'll come out and be like, well, it's kind of interesting that you guys are all saying this because here's so-and-so on the such and such camera dumping in blah, blah, blah. Who's that? I think that would be brilliant. I do.
See it happening.
I do. And what a shame that for the country's 250th celebration, you have to have like extra security on, not for like the Taliban or Antifa, but for Democrats and their progressive whack jobs who are militarized, right? It's so sad. I hate everyone.
Well,
it's not you guys.
Not you. No.
Maybe. Sometimes you.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Wendy Bell. Inspiring solutions to save America, one show at a time. Are you ready to get on board?
They believe that they can destroy this bond that exists between you and Trump if they somehow make Trump look bad, make Trump look like a reprobate, embarrass you about Trump. They can't do it because you came before Trump. Desperately want Trump gone, and I know that they desperately want it codified, that Trump cannot run again, because make no mistake, they remain scared to death of you, and they remain scared. You from Make America Great Again.
From sea to shining sea, 3 hours of bold truth and excellence. The Wendy Bell Radio Program.
Welcome back to the Wendy Bell Radio Program. A delight, as always, to be with you. WendyBellRadio.com. Live video stream all 3 hours. We're back up and running, and it is joy to be with you. Thank you. So now we've gotten to this place, ladies and gentlemen, where pride is mandatory. Pride is mandatory. You got to have the rainbow flag. You got to put on that stupid shirt. You got to drape yourself in it if you're a ball player now these days. Because the sports that big burly men play don't have big burly men with big burly huevos to stand up and be like, yeah, about your alphabet agenda, I think we're just going to stick with an American pastime and play some baseball. How about that? We're going to provide a night out or an afternoon out that's safe and fun, and it's not dirty. There's no nakedness. There's no weird messages. It's called baseball. And you're not allowed to ruin it. But sadly, we don't have those men, I can tell right now, in any kind of position of power within Major League Baseball. Certainly the guy who's the general manager of the York Revolution, needs to grow a pair because I don't see him being particularly assertive. Did you hear, of course, this whole thing, right? The whole agenda of including everyone. We're all in this together, right? Look, nobody cared if you were black until you threw it down our throats, right? Black Lives Matter. You want extra. Now it's reparations. Let's erase history, take down all the statues, be outraged, right? You want that to continue. See, we moved on past that about 50 years ago. Democrats try to bring it back because they need something to bitch about, right? So I wasn't looking at you. I didn't care about your race. I wasn't paying attention to the color of your skin until you forced me to. That's not me being racist. That's me being busy. Sorry, apathetic. I don't really care, right? Now you make me care because you want me to pay for stuff for you to get extra, not equal. Everything's equal. There's nothing a black person can do in this country that they couldn't do. What a white person can do that a black person can't do? I don't know. No, right? Let's chuck that. Now it's the whole gay stuff. Again, I don't care. I don't care if you're gay. I just don't need to see you making out, having sex on the sidewalk, reading books to children dressed as a woman when you're just a big, fat, ugly man wearing too much makeup, right? I don't think you need to have parades and have dudes riding around without pants on. I don't think that's cool. That's gross. I'm embarrassed for you. And then you want to force us to put on your rainbow you've bastardized, you've completely molested the rainbow. That Roy G. Biv thing of beauty now has gray, brown, and black in it and some weird angle. Like, what did you do? And pink too? And white? It's like the dumbest thing ever. It's like the LGBTQIA plus. What else is included in that list? How about you just love who you want to love and shut the hell up about it? Is that okay? Is that okay? I think it's okay. I don't think that makes me a hater. You know, my closest girlfriends. It's funny. They're all gay. Why is that? You know what my closest girlfriends who are all gay don't like? This kind of crap. It's embarrassing to people who are gay who just want to live their lives. Remember? They wanted to get married. They want to have the same benefits that other couples have. Okay, Supreme Court weighed in, did that. Could we move on? No, we can't move on. So MLB throws a rock at a hornet's nest and is now beginning to feel the sting, this time from little old York, Pennsylvania, where a minor league baseball team forfeited a game because its general manager is a willow. You guys ready for this? Well, let's give you a news report. Let's check in with the news report on the York Revolution, the minor league baseball team, that a couple of the players were like, that jersey that you want me to wear makes me look like I just got off the Love Boat and I was one of the performers. No, this, I can hear you through the glass. But
that could be the best description. I was on the Love Boat and I was a performer.
It's so gay. Look, and you know what? People who are gay, if you want to walk around and be drippingly homosexual, really, we don't care. I really don't. If you do it for shock value, nobody's shocked anymore. I'm shocked by nothing. But it's this mandatory pride, right? Be prideful, damn it. And you're like, no, I don't want to do that. So here's the news report on the York Revolution, basically having one. Here we go.
The park made this announcement late last night, saying this decision was made with, quote, great disappointment. They say some of the players refused to wear the special Pride Night jersey, so this game is being treated as a rainout.
I would ask the community for understanding. Running an organization in this way, with these difficult dynamics, having to find a solution to these complex problems without a clean solution is a difficult task, and there's no good way to get everybody everything that they want. But our primary function as Wellspan Park in York, Pennsylvania, is to welcome the community in and be the most welcoming place in York.
And the Revolution says it will donate $10,000 to the Rainbow Rose Center, describing the contribution as a gesture of regret over the last-minute change and as a show of support for the LGBTQIA+ community partners.
Oh, you just stepped in it, bro. There is no, what do you mean clean solution? This isn't a difficult situation. Don't make people who want to play baseball put on clothes that they're not comfortable wearing. Period. This isn't complicated. Spencer, Ben, whatever the hell your name was. Ben is the problem with weak men who've been emasculated by the white college educated toxic liberal chick. That's Ben, right? Well, we're really sorry. We're going to give $10,000 to the LGBT because we don't want you guys to spray paint anything. Don't destroy our place. No, please don't. Or how about we just say, this is farcical and it's stupid and people don't like it and families can talk to their children about homosexuality when they want. Thrusting it down their faces is not what we're going to do anymore, period. How about that, Ben? Does that work for you? Because that works for me. And by the way, do you think like York, Pennsylvania is swimming in gay people who are all of a sudden going to break the York Revolution, box office and not go and see games anymore? Like, grow up. Grow up. We're done being browbeaten. We're done being told who we need to care about, what we need to accept. Because I've got an answer for that. Suck it. Okay, Ben? Now, I want to read you the York Revolution Club statement. All right? I'm going to pull it up. I wish I could show you just how dumb the uniforms are. It's tragic. It says, "It is with great disappointment that the York Revolution have issued important changes to our 11th annual Pride Night on Thursday, June 18th. Oh, snap, last night. Most significantly, we scheduled the game between York and Southern Maryland. It's not going to be played. And Pride will still be hosted as a free admission event." I'm sure everybody went. "Everyone's tickets for the game on Thursday will be treated as a rainout that can be redeemed for any future game. The decision was not reached lightly. They forfeited the game." Ben! God, you're a schmuck. "Unfortunately, several of our players have refused to wear the scheduled Pride Night jersey, and the club decided that hosting the event is more important than forcing players to wear jerseys that are not comfortable with and playing the game. As a result, and out of respect for the Pride community and the York community as a whole, the York Revolution has decided that the game on Thursday, June 18th will be forfeited and that Pride Night will continue on as the feature element of the evening at Wellspan Park." I'm sure the place was crawling with folks. Everybody's so hot and horny to get over to the Pride Night festivals at this arena, this whatever baseball field, right? Wrong. See, by trying to make everybody happy, Ben, you piss off everyone because you're inauthentic. You stand for nothing. You care for nothing. You just don't want to ruffle any feathers. That's called cancel culture. I hate it. It sucks, Ben. You know better, Ben. Oh, by the way, it's a bad day for MLB because apparently Trump Assistant Attorney General in the Civil Rights Division, Harmeet Dillon, just dropped a bomb on the Major League Baseball. She's launching a full religious discrimination probe after they attacked Christian players for writing Bible verses on their pride hats. BLM and LGBTQ is fine, but Jesus, well, that's a bridge too far. We'll see you in court, suckers. Can you tell it makes me angry? Stop it. I support gay people, but stop forcing us to forfeit what we believe in to accommodate you. I don't ask you to. When we come back, for today's episode of That Didn't Age Well, Sunny Hostin, she tried to lecture Vice President Vance yesterday on The View that all the people being rounded up by ICE, they're not criminals. They're just good people being ripped away from their children. Well, about that, Sonny, if you'd like to learn something, I've got it for you next on the Wendy Bell Radio Network. Stop it. You would look like a freaking flamenco dancer.
They're going to lose more season ticket holders.
Suck it, Ben.
This is where people check out.
I stopped buying Nike. I stopped drinking Starbucks. I never liked it anyway, but I stopped drinking it.
I stopped going to Pirate games. Well, they stopped.
And they put the Black Lives Matter bull crap out there.
Don't need it.
Stop
need it.
Play the goddamn game.
Yep.
Play the game. We like baseball.
I'd be curious to know how many people canceled their tickets. Or how many they lose next year. Because usually you have to buy in advance. Pay for the whole year. Yeah.
Right? Like, stop it. Just stop it. I was so excited when, You had a couple of those Supreme Court cases where it's like, you can't force me. Well, honest to God. And Brock dismantled that argument about the baker not making the wedding cake for the gay couple. Why would you want, if you're a gay couple, somebody who doesn't support you or vehemently denies what you think is true?
Attention.
Why would you want them and their fingers on your special day? You wouldn't, unless what you really wanted was extra. It's not equal. It's extra. I don't want equal rights. I want extra. I want reparations.
It's the look at me.
I want my Obama phone. I want my Obama money. And it's like, what?
All right, if you're here, please give a rumble.
Yes, we would so appreciate a rumble from you guys, considering it's been
watching.
It's been a day. We've got 2,700 on X. Everybody wanted to see how fabulous I looked. Okay. So we've got the algae at the reflecting pool, which is clearly sus, right? I don't know for sure what the deal was with that, but it's clearly suspicious. Like, you don't have to be a rock star to figure that crap out. Right? You've got this abomination, right?
Pun intended.
In Chicago, and contractors not getting paid, but the news isn't covering that because that makes sense.
And Hillary on a summer day showing up full garb with a
What's
scarf.
she going through? Is she in some hyperbaric? Is she not eating enough children's faces or something? That's rude. I'm sorry. Healthy Cell is something I've been taking every single day. Healthy Cell, it's a very interesting way to get your daily supplementation. But I'm just going to tell you a couple of the things that are fantastic. Calm mood. Do you guys ever feel totally like you're going to lose your mind and you need to sit down and just take a pill? Just relax. This, it's a microgel, 165% better absorbed into your body than swallowing a capsule. Sometimes your stomach acid isn't strong enough to digest it all. We end up pooping out a lot of the stuff we spend money on. This gets down to the cellular level. What I feel when I take this calm mood isn't like I'm like, ugh. I feel like nothing is going to set me off. Nothing is going to make me feel like, it's just I'm in control. And I feel like I can focus on you guys in the show. That's no smoke. That's real. Every single day I take this 45 minutes before the show. And it just evens you out. healthycell.com/Wendy. REM sleep. Knock you out. It's fantastic. Focus and recall. Hair, skin, and nails. Heart and all of this stuff. There are 15 different formulations. I strongly support this company. I do not lie to you. healthycell.com/Wendy. 20% off your first order. They come like this. Cute little, take them and go. I'm telling you every day. I'm almost going to be out in another 2 weeks. I know. healthycell.com/Wendy. I love them. All right, let's get through this. Didn't age well. There's nothing, this is a big generalization and it is wrong, but in the moment it feels right. Right? So there's nothing more annoying than a bunch of irritating women who don't know much, but tell you that you're wrong about stuff you know more about than they do. That made total sense to me. Did that make sense to you? So did it make sense? It did.
If you're married, it does. You're never right. Just, yeah. Yes, dear.
So anyway, JD Vance walks into the Lion's Den. He's pimping his new book, The Women on the View. And they pepper him with all these questions. He's extraordinarily gracious. Sonny Hostin said something, though, which was just factually incorrect. And the left just can't get out of its own way because it needs to save every illegal alien. They need these people to vote. You know, that's the finishing line. It's about the math. The math is the math. They invited millions of people in because their base is gone because Democrats suck. And black people caught on to it. And they're like, sorry, no. Bring in the illegals, right? Sonny is going to say that ICE is rounding up just average people and they're just ripping them away from their children. It's so terrible. And then JD Vance has an answer for that. Listen.
Majority of people that ICE is rounding up and taking out of their homes from their families. They're separating families. They're using children as bait.
But
the majority are not criminals.
But can I respond to that, guys? Let me just say this. Okay. So you talk about the children. Here's what I'd say. Do we know that during the last administration, we had tens of thousands of children who were sex trafficked by the cartels, who were brought into our country in profoundly dangerous and predatory conditions?
Let's talk about this administration.
But here's the point. Unless you enforce the border, you invite that kind of conduct.
Very reasonable, common sense conversation there. Sonny doesn't want to talk about the last administration. I voted for that administration. I want to talk about you. And he's like, well, you know what? Xavier Becerra did lose 500,000 immigrant children. At least now he's going to fail upwards to become governor of California. But then this came out. Exclusive. 735 criminal illegal aliens arrested by ICE Houston officers just in May, nearly 1,200 violent convictions, including murderers and child predators. Do you think Sunny Hostin reads Breitbart? Do you think she follows the ICE Twitter page? Because I do. U.S. Immigrations and Customs Enforcement officials revealed that 735 criminal illegal aliens arrested in the Houston area last month accounted for more than 1,700 criminal convictions, with nearly 1,200 involving violent crimes or threats to public safety. Hey, Sonny, do you want to live in Houston? Because these guys were roaming around your streets. Would you like your son to be on the street with any of these illegal goons? Or is your sanctuary stuff you would support these people too? The arrests included murderers, rapists, child predators, arsonists, drug traffickers, and members of MS-13, Serenos 13, 18th Street, Tango Blast, and other brutal gangs. Sonny. But they're good people. They're being taken away from their... Do you have a clue in the world before you open up your mouth on that program that what you are saying is likely incorrect? No. There is no logic. There is no fact to counteract the left's feelings, because it's all based on emotion. Because whatever you don't have inside, called common sense, well, you're better than other people because you care more. You're going to go fight for that guy, that illegal alien, human trafficker, gangbanger who beats his wife. I love you, Maryland man. And you're going to fly on a plane and you're going to go have margaritas with him and say, oh, what can I do to help you? Anything, tell me, name it. Sonny, do you not see that every day on that silly show you look dumb? You think you're smart. ICE is doing... Have you ever had somebody break into your house, Sonny? Have you ever been home alone, pregnant, and had somebody kick in your door and streak through the foyer of your house as you stood upstairs in a t-shirt and underwear, pregnant, looking down over with no weapon, nothing? Because I did. I was there. That was me. And thank God I startled the guy and dropped a tapestry of profanity and said I had a gun and I was going to blow his brains out. Or else. What if he had turned the corner and come up the stairs? What was I going to do? Throw a hairdryer at him? That is the job of ICE, Sonny. That is the job. And that you continue to support illegal alien criminals because you refuse to be educated is a disgrace and indicative of the derangement of today's Democratic Party. When we come back on the Wendy Bell radio program, I'm tired of those men and women getting pooed on. I'm so freaking tired of it. Well, not so fast there, Nithya. FBI agents descend on Skid Row. Oh no, whatever for? Let's find out next on the Wendy Bell Radio Network. Scariest moment of my life.
And then you dialed 411.
And then I dialed 411. I thought I would be super like level-headed and reasonable in an emergency. I'm like, cool as a cucumber.
I mean, talk about.
I am an absolute wreck in an emergency. I was like, I'm like, oh my God, you need calm mood.
You'd be different now.
I probably would.
Now you'd be
now
like,
because I have firearms and I would just shoot people.
I was just going to say, I know exactly where to go.
I'm going to shoot you. Okay. That's what's going to happen here. I'm going to shoot you.
I probably won't hit you, but I'll hit something
I'll
and
hit
you'll
you.
run.
I'll have really good focus at that point. Really good aim. I all of a sudden got super hot. Sorry, guys. Okay. So what's going on out there, guys? Anybody, any questions to ask of you all in the feed or in the comments?
If you're seeing this for the first time, let us know.
Yes, please do.
That's the one nice thing about the box. You get exposed to people that might not see you.
Yeah, so our story, it's pretty easy. I got fired multiple times for talking about the truth and hunting and pecking during COVID, and
So you got me fired.
bringing up common sense questions that I thought we all needed to ask that have all come out. And I got fired literally multiple times and ended up getting Brock fired too. And one day after I was fired, I was like, screw it. Let's do this ourselves. And so we built a studio. I rent space off of a local radio station. They rent me Brock's studio and mine, but all of the equipment is ours. We pay out of pocket. I'm not paid. The satellite, and literally anybody out there can take this show, and we pay for it. So we have 20, 25 stations, something like that. That's completely organic. I haven't asked any of them to take the show. I'm just a mom. I've got 5 kids, 5 boys. They're all adults. I know, it's amazing. How did I do that? I know. And we tell you the truth. And somehow along the way, because you guys are phenomenal and you support us, you support our products that we sell, and all of which we use. And we are wildly successful. And I'm reminded of it and humbled by it every single day. That's the story of this program. And my kids got to watch me get cut and burned multiple times. But they also saw you don't quit. You keep going. You think outside the box. You follow your heart. You do what you need to do. And I'm lucky that along the way, I developed a pretty good reputation in Pittsburgh as a longtime television news anchor and reporter. Got fired from that job too because I called out black on black crime. I live in a neighborhood where there's a lot of violence in the surrounding perimeter. And I got tired of seeing more black kids getting shot by other black kids in my neighborhood. And I said something about it, and I wasn't allowed to. I was white. It was 2016, and I was one of the first victims of cancel culture. So I lost my job, 21 Emmys, and I stayed home for 4 years, and I raised my family, and it was the greatest gift in my life. And it was the most brutal time I've ever been through. And then somebody opened up a door to radio, and I literally got thrust on a show. And this one was the producer. He was called to fill in because the black woman who was supposed to do it didn't want to work with a racist. So Brock, who never saw me, didn't know anything about me, filled in, and I didn't know what I was doing. I had no idea, and he did his job, and he helped me. And the rest is history.
Yep.
Right? So, and along the way, like, we started doing 9 to noon. We got up to 10. We had Trump call in. The president phoned into the show. And that was a real thrill. I wasn't expecting that. He should totally do it again. But, I'm just old school, common sense, ask questions.
Don't lie.
I don't need a whole lot of notes to interview somebody. I almost never have interviews. We don't take phone calls. I don't really care what other people think. I don't mean to be mean, but I think that we do a pretty good gauge of the stories of the day. Some things we just don't touch, and it's not because it's off limits, but I'm not interested. And if I'm not interested, I can't expect you to be interested, you know? And, we don't have some of the views that the other shows do, but every single day, literally for the last 4 years, we've been on the top 10 Rumble leaderboard. I mean, up there with Dan Bongino, who blows us out of the water 20-fold with views.
Yeah.
But it's because of your interactions with us, because you click that Rumble button, because you add a comment, because you share, that we blow everybody else out of the water with that. You do. You do. And sometimes I cry on the air. It's kind of embarrassing, but it's really not. Just, we've been through a lot together, you guys, just as a family, as a country. And I'm not going to give the country I love to my children and have the Democrats destroy it. I'm just not. Over my dead body. And I'll fight for your children and your grandchildren the same way. My kids are 26 down to 18-year-olds. And I love them the way you love your family. Sitting back and watching a simulation, I feel that in my gut. My son Michael and I have talked about that. He's like, some of the things that go on are so predictively preposterous that there's no way that what we're dealing with is reality. And that there's some days it's going to be like a bzzzt, and like Men in Black, where they're like bzzzt, and you look at the light and all of a sudden you forgot everything that you saw. I feel like we're all going to bzzzt, and this weird charade is going to end. And reality is going to come back to us because it's so ridiculous. But then there's that other side of me that believes in order for us to have the awakening that we have to have, in order for this next enlightenment, this next golden age to happen. And President Trump has been extraordinarily consistent on that, extraordinarily consistent and predictive. There is going to be a golden age of prosperity, the likes of which you've not seen. That if your children are like my children, young adults, and they're looking at the economy and they're looking at the system right now, and they're like, there's not a snowball's chance in hell I'm going to be able to afford a house, let alone raise a family or come anywhere close to providing for a wife and children the way I was when I was young. That's going to change. I believe that. I do. I believe. And it's important to believe. See, when you stop believing, you become that toxic liberal woman. And I'm not trying to take swings. I'm just telling you the truth. There's a reason a fair number of the women, the progressives out there, are atheists. They don't believe. They don't believe in the Almighty. They don't believe in a higher power of something bigger than they, a code of conduct, a pair of eyes that you kind of feel like is always watching. Would this be something that would be frowned upon for me to do? When you lose that, it's like losing the father from the household, losing the father from your life. There's nobody there to keep you honest. And I think it eats people out from the inside. And by the time it finally manifests itself, I think progressive people age faster. They look angry. They don't smile. They're not pleasant. They're not able to chit chat or put things aside. I don't want that. And I believe all of this is being exposed so that we are enlightened and we do understand what's happened to us. The stuff that's going on in California, like I said in the earlier segments, it's a trial balloon. It's your Chinese spy balloon, right? We're going to send this up and we're going to see how we can pull this off in California. And if we can overrun the legislature, if we can rule, as in LA City Council, 0 members that are Republican. San Francisco City Council, 0 members that are Republican. Oakland, name your city, 0 Republicans. Once we have control, we can change the rules and say, well, as long as it's postmarked by election day and there's some squiggle on it, we'll accept your ballots up till 4 weeks. So we're going to count for 4 weeks. It's perfectly lawful what they're doing. You might question the results. You might say, all of a sudden you got 30% of a rush of people who are just hot and horny for Nithya Raman, somebody nobody knew, until all of a sudden all of this nucleus of Skid Row votes comes in. And you want us not to connect the dots with ballot harvesting, which again is perfectly legal in California because your Democrat-run legislature made it so. So when Kristen Welker's like, where's the evidence that there was something wrong? There's no evidence that there was anything wrong. She's right in that your evidence is everything in your gut that tells you what you're talking about, Willis, right? And then you look at their laws, and for Gavin Newsom to sign a bill in a law that's like, nobody can ever audit the results of our elections ever. Why in the hell would that happen? Because you're freaking cheating. Everybody knows it, right? Everybody knows Joe Biden didn't get 81 million votes. Everybody knows he was in his hyperbaric chamber and that there's no way he had a clue in the world what was going on. Everybody knows it. But Democrats are crafty. I'll give them that. They can mobilize people like clone troopers like that, but they're also crafty. They'll think 15 steps behind and 30 forward to make sure all of the dots are connected. And then something happens that kind of throws everything off. And here's the headline that is that today. FBI agents descend on Skid Row in massive voter fraud probe after stunning claims of election bribery. Can you think of anything more despicable other than preying on children than creating, incentivizing, and rewarding a drug zombie culture that you see on Skid Row, where people have legitimate addiction and legitimate mental needs? And they're provided fresh syringes. Here's some syringes for you. This will make it everything better. Just vote for this person. Here, I'm going to give you all you needed. Did you have good handwriting? Okay, here's you go. Just squiggle here. Just sign right here. And here's $2. To someone on Skid Row, that's the next hit. That's the next high. That's survival. Hell yeah, I'll sign that. How many more do you have? Let me go get some of my friends. I'll be your broker. And they said this thing. And so they use the drug addicted that they create, that they don't go to help. Nithya Raman's solution to that as a city council member. Well, we're just going to pick them off the street and we'll put them in these hotels, these homes. That'll work. No, because you've got to heal the soul. You've got to heal the wounds before you get people off the street. The FBI now investigating voter fraud in Los Angeles. Hell yeah. Federal agents descended onto the streets of Skid Row in downtown LA Thursday following allegations that the homeless had been paid to vote in the June 2nd primary. This is the slow step. This is the slow drip. This is the process that drives everybody nutty because you're like, we could see, right? I can see, right? Stevie Wonder might not be able to see the monstrosity of the Obama library, but we do. And we see it beyond its ugliness. It represents something that's so much darker for us. 20 agents swooping in on the notoriously blighted area after homeless people staying there claimed they'd been bribed with cash to sign multiple registration forms, forge signatures, and fill out voter information for the mayoral and gubernatorial primaries. And they're still counting. Shocker, the California Post looked on as plainclothes agents questioned Skid Row residents, asking them if they were paid to vote or were aware of others who were approached with the offer. And it's the saddest scene. Got people in their own filth, living in squalor, with medieval communicable diseases, some of them skinnier than skeletons, no teeth, no nutrition, and they were used as freaking pawns. Don't tell me if you're a Democrat that your party cares about people, because you don't. You prey on them because everybody is a grift. And that is despicable. It's despicable. Marked a major escalation in the Fed's probe of voting in Los Angeles, with FBI Director Kash Patel applauding the action. Securing our elections is the utmost priority for this FBI. If you mess with our elections, we will find you. You know, the scary part for me in some of this, we were talking about Fauci and how he's the eye of the storm. His fingerprints were all over that virus. That virus was the Fauci virus. It wasn't the coronavirus. He did that. He did that to the world. We knew he did that. We told you about it 5 years ago. You've been on this ride with us this whole time. It's the slow process. In the meantime, there are people out there who are like, got my 9th booster, and I have a few in my family. And I want to be like, you know that fluttering heart condition you've been having? You might want to read some of the side effects. Oh, that's just a conspiracy theory. Okay, Sonny Austin. The speed with which change happens when you've been watching the abuse, it's never fast enough. It's never going to be fast enough. I hope J.D. Vance is right. We started the show with the soundbite of his as he's on this book tour. He's asked by this guy, who podcast host, are aliens real? And J.D. with the authentic answer, you know what? I don't know. But if I've learned anything in life, it is that anything is possible. And that if you open your mind to that possibility, whether it's something spiritual, somebody who's passed away in your life, who you see in a vision or what have you, you're better than being closed off. The problem is, we've been open, we've been waiting, and the speed is so slow. Skid Row. Who would have thunk it? That area where all of the video that we've been covering for months now would deliver such an overwhelming love for Nithya Raman and that ballot initiative to raise the sales tax in California over 10%, because nothing says, thank you, can I please have another, like higher taxes. Got it. When we come back on the Wendy Bell radio program, good news, ladies and gentlemen. Next. I went totally long on that. I'm sorry. I totally blew out good news. I got fussy.
Couldn't tell.
I'm sorry. It's the picture of, there's like some guy who, he's got like no teeth. He's wearing a mask. He's like going to shoot in his arm. And then there's these agents who are there talking to them. And I'm like, oh my God, what are we doing? Don't tell us that you care about people. You use them. You use them and abuse them and trample them. Sorry, guys. The good news is going to supersede any kind of bad jokes. We got to play the good news because it's a super one about fathers. And if there's anything I love, it's men. I love you guys. Happy Father's Day to all of you. You are the most important people. You're so important to us. There is not an honest woman out there who is not so grateful for a strong husband or a boyfriend or what have you, some man in their life. I've never done that. I've never skipped good news.
No.
Are you mad at me?
The show is the show. If you're on a roll, I'm not gonna stop you. Almost 7,300 people watching.
Oh, wow. Hey, I didn't know that. We're still in that then.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
But only 832 rumbles. What are you all waiting for? What? Just do it.
That
Feels
little
good.
thumbs up button
Yeah, it
underneath.
feels real good.
It looks like this. Right underneath my face. Well, this good news is lovely. We'll do this and we'll get in a couple of the jokes in. I apologize. I know you guys enjoy that. I enjoy that too. That was one of those things. So we do this thing called Bad Joke Friday, which is dippy, but it's hilarious because Brock actually came up with it when we were out to dinner one night. And my youngest sons were quite young at the time. And Bobby was telling stupid jokes. And then he would tell the punchline and he'd be like,
He'd start laughing.
it's so bad. And Brock was like,
This would be a great radio segment.
this would be a great. And I was like, shut up. No, it wouldn't. And you're like, Bad Joke Friday. And it was born. And then people give us their jokes and then I poo on them. I'm sorry. We only got 2 pages though. So this might be of all the days. And Brock doesn't proof them. So if it's grammatically like R, I have to fix it.
If you haven't followed the page, please follow the page if you're new.
This one is at Doc Rafferty's is bad. Aw.
Here's a joke. I'm reading a horror story in Braille. Something bad is going to happen. I can just feel it. What did Eve say to Adam?
Huh?
That's a strange place for a comma.
I don't understand. It's a strange place for a comma.
His wiener.
Oh, I didn't know what that meant. Sorry.
Oh, boy.
Sometimes I don't get them. Gentlemen, I went long in the prior segment, which means now we've got to squeeze in our good. A Father's Day flashback as Steve Hartman in 2015 shared the story of a young woman torn between 2 men and the move her father made that changed everything.
Through the years, I've told stories of dads and father figures from all walks of life doing wonderful things for their kids. So let's take a look at some of those now. First up, a daughter navigating a difficult situation gets some unexpected.
Is that the greatest? I love that story. Okay, Brock, you ready? Got to do it.
Ladies and gentlemen, I just flew in from New York, and boy, my arm's tired. I'm joking, of course. Anywho, welcome to the Comedy Club. Don't you give it up to Wendy and Brock for Bad Joke Friday.
The first joke, Dr. Richard Rafferty from the Disc Institute of Pittsburgh. He writes, a man is about to walk into a bar known for having lots of beautiful women. The bouncer stops him at the door and says, whoa, we've got a dress policy here. Ties are mandatory for men. You're just wearing a shirt that's open at the collar. Sorry, I can't let you in. So the guy goes back to his car, sees a tie anywhere, but he didn't. But while he's looking, he notices a pair of jumper cables in the back of his car. He's desperate to get into the bar, so he fashions the jumper cables into a rough tie knot around his neck. The ends dangling free, goes back to the bar. Bouncer looks him over carefully and then nods. Oh, I guess you can come in now, he says. Just don't start anything.
Oh, God. Tonight I was grilling steaks for dinner. My son said, Dad, one day I will help you with bills, grocery, and rent. My eyes teared up.
Oh.
He'll be 38 next week.
Did you hear the one about the broken computer? It needed a place to stay. It had nowhere to crash.
Oh, God.
I know.
Did you hear about the cross-eyed teacher?
No.
Yeah, he couldn't control his pupils.
I want to hear 99 Men Sing Africa by Toto. It's something that 100 men or more could never do.
What do you call a witch that lives at the beach?
Huh.
A sandwich.
Sometimes I just can't stand bad jokes. Maybe I should try sitting on them.
Oh, God.
I know.
Steve was walking down the street and spotted a lamp in the bushes. Picked up, gave it a rub. Poof, a genie appeared. The genie said, I will grant you 3 wishes. Steve was going through a nasty divorce at the time. Said, remove every lawyer from earth. Genie says, that's kind of drastic, don't you think? Steve said, no, they're liars and thieves. Genie snaps his fingers. Okay, they're all gone. What do you want for your last wish? Steve says, my last wish. He said, I got 3. Genie said, sue me.
A man goes into the confessional booth and says, Father, forgive me. I had sex with 9 women last week. And priest says, well, take 9 lemons and squeeze the juice into a glass and drink it at once. The man says, will that forgive my sins? And priest says, no, but it'll get that smile off your face.
My granddad has a heart of a lion and a lifetime ban from the zoo.
There you go. It's all you need to know. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for being a part of the program. To all of you dads out there and men who act as dads, happy Father's Day. You are loved. Peace.